Live from America's heartland, Kansas Speedway, we bring you SimRacerHubs.com Truck Series final push towards our postseason with the Triple M pulling 200 this evening as we'll go from day to night at this beautiful 1.5-mile track in the middle of our great nation and home to one of the most impressive facilities in the Midwest and one of the nicest 1.5-mile facilities in the country. My name is Tyler Dittmer. Joining me tonight in the booth is my co-host, Will. Drivers with their hands full, definitely, as these trucks operate two different ways on two different sides of the track.
Yeah, definitely going to be a challenge indeed. And we've seen a little bit of a mixed bag of results this season. We've seen drivers win a couple races in a row. We've seen a couple of different drivers win. Of course, last week at Adam Newbert. But you got to remember, in this series, Tyler, one win, you're locked into the playoffs. So watch out here tonight for one of those drivers that aren't locked into the playoffs to snag that victory and secure their spot in those playoff races.
I'm glad you brought up the winners looking to get themselves in the playoffs and those who have already won. As we look at those who have won on intermediate tracks so far this year, Sean Hamilton won at the first mile and a half at Texas Motor Speedway. Nathan Maurer won at both Darlington and Kentucky Motor Speedway. And then Robbie Richards took home the victory at Homestead Miami Speedway. Your four winners, really just three because of that back-to-back deal with Nathan. Being 38 points off. Yes, he did win. Generally, we say that you're in the playoffs, but Adam Newbert has not raced the minimum amount of races eligible to lock himself in with that win. So he's actually points racing, Will. And tonight, he's only 8 points behind Cody Knott, but Cody Knott also gained ground on the driver in front of him. He was about 12 points back last week. Now he's only 1 point behind Brandon Broadfoot. That cut line is getting tighter and tighter, Will.
Exactly. You just touched on it there, Tyler. That cut line is getting tighter and tighter. Watch out here tonight for Adam Newbert. Has to get a good finish in the back to secure his spot in those playoff races. Only 8 points separates him in that cut line. But also watch out, Tyler. You know, I've mentioned it here on these broadcasts. For those drivers that are just above that cut line, you don't want to get too comfortable with only 3 races left in the regular season. You want to make sure you secure that spot, make sure you're in those playoff races, because who knows, down the stretch here, we have anybody win a race here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Yeah, and I want to look ahead real quickly to our remaining schedule here on the Sim Racer Hub. After that, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Well, Las Vegas Motor Speedway races very similarly to Kansas Motor Speedway here. And progressive banking in the corners, a little bit steeper banking than what you see at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Those Kansas and Vegas are very similar racetracks in that regard. Cut the apron through the tri-oval as well. So it's going to present a unique challenge, and this is kind of going to show, as I would say, maybe a dress rehearsal to that regular season finale at Las Vegas. You're going to see drivers try things tonight that maybe it doesn't work out, but they know that that's something they can put in their back pocket for 2 weeks from now. Obviously, Worldwide Technology Raceway being a completely different track, Will, as the practice session has just ended. And we're actually going to take this time to talk with your number one driver from practice. And that's going to be Jason Morales, who led the way in practice. Jason, you were the fastest truck, I believe, to end out the practice session here. You look to have a very, very, very very fast number 5 truck here tonight. What can you do to find yourself in victory lane at the end of this race?
Try not to mess myself up, getting into pits the right way, not to sliding through the box. Simple mistakes that I seem to bite myself with here and there.
Yeah, we noticed you had a tough race. You had a contact with another driver last week, forcing you to pit earlier in that stage 3 cycle. Is your goal maybe to get out here, have a great qualifying lap, get yourself on the front row, and get away from all the traffic and chaos that can happen behind you?
Yeah, that's kind of been a struggle of mine this season. It feels like each race, get in the practice lobbies and I'm top 5 in speed, and then go out and just throw the qualifying out the window and wind up 13th or 10th or something. So really hoping to finally do the right thing here in qualifying, get up front and try to stay out there.
Well, with that, Jason, we'll let you go lay down your qualifying laps. I know you're really biting at the bit to get going here tonight, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jason Morales, driver of that number 5 Chevy Silverado. Correction, I almost said Chevy Camaro. Will, sometimes I mix my terminology a little bit between the trucks and the cup cars here and the NASCAR stuff here on the iRacing server. But a couple more interesting facts here. Speaking of Chevys, Toyotas, and Fords at Kansas Motor Speedway, Will, Toyotas actually have the most wins in the Craftsman Truck Series, now called Craftsman Truck Series again after switching back from the Camping World Truck Series here at Kansas Motor Speedway. Meanwhile, though, the opening winner of the first inaugural event here at Kansas Motor Speedway, none other than Ricky Hendrick. May he rest in peace. Obviously, the son of Rick Hendrick and a fabulous Truck Series driver. But he obviously winning that inaugural race here at Kansas, a track owned by NASCAR, one of only 11 left currently on the NASCAR National Series circuits. Only 11 of these tracks still exist in the hands of NASCAR. Most of them are either private companies or part of the International Speedway Corporation, SMI or something along those lines. Can't remember it right now, but right now you're looking at, I believe that's the number 6 of Zach Hartwith. He's trying to put down a qualifying effort here. He's running the high line here. It looks like to be maybe his outlap. Hopefully I can get more information on that, but that looks to be the 6s. Yeah, that is Zach Hartwick's outlap. He has just taken the green flag here. So he's looking to put down a good lap entering 1 and 2. He's going to run that middle lane, which I think will present a unique challenge for some of these drivers tonight. Will, I think you're muted. I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, as we're watching these qualifying runs take place here, sorry about that. I think I was muted there. Got so excited about the action here tonight as we watch the 6 truck take the line there, as we watch the 5 of Morales, who we just spoke to here tonight, Tyler. Gonna see what kind of lap he can lay down here. How important it is here at a track like Kansas. We talked about how different this is from the other tracks we've seen so far here this season. Is that starting position? We always see those hard chargers, though, in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, but as we watch Morales here lay this lap down the backstretch right now, how important is it to start pretty good here tonight?
I think it's really important, especially at Kansas. Yeah, you can keep together as a group, but it's going to get single file, I would say, relatively quick in the session. Zach Hartwick just put a great second down, almost put the truck on pole, missing out on the pole by 1/1000th of a second. Jason Morales, meanwhile, our practice number 1, he's going to slot in a third here on his second lap running 31.282. So really good lap so far from Jason Morales, Zach Hartwick. But right now, your provisional pole sitter by 1/1000th of a second. That's Michael McKinnon. First time back in a couple weeks for him, so he's looking to have a good run here tonight. And I will say, Will, Mike McKinnon, very, very strong, very solid driver, does never seem to have the luck to finish any of these races. So he's definitely looking for a good finish here.
Absolutely. He's one of those drivers that, like I mentioned to start off the broadcast here tonight, that really needs one of those wins to break through to get into those playoff races. But for Michael McKinnon, you just touched on it, Tyler, very consistent inside the truck. There's a lot of those drivers throughout this season here that run very consistently. We could throw Raul Meza's name in there as well. Some of these other drivers just have bad luck throughout these races. No fault of their own, Tyler, but drivers like Michael McKinnon, who now holds that pole position right now, looks like it's a dead tie at the top right now with a 31.26 as we watch Nathan Maurer, a guy who has a bunch of wins in the bag so far this season, that 971 machine. Michael McKinnon, though, currently on top of the grid on that pole position.
Yeah, Nathan Maurer looking to put together a really solid qualifying effort. He didn't have the practice he wanted to, but looking to hopefully put together a qualifying effort that he's proud of, but right now that first lap's not going to do it. That's a 31.36, putting him in 12th, so he's looking to have an improvement here on that second lap. But I think something else we have to look out for, Will, I mentioned Toyota has been dominant here in the Craftsman Truck Series and the real world, and even last year in the Cup Series in the real life, you saw 2311 Racing sweep with their Toyotas. I think you have to look at the three Toyotas in the field tonight from Stick With It Motorsports of Justin Lumpkin, Adam Newbert, last week's winner, and Brian Chu in that 51 machine. Three drivers who have had very solid years so far, three playoff contention drivers. Nate Maurer jumps to P3 on the board with a great second lap. So he'll knock Jason Morales down the slot. But I think we have to look at those three Toyotas, Will, as competitors here all night long.
Yeah, and you speak about the field here tonight. You look at the current top 10 as we're watching this qualifying session now, starting to round out as we now watch that 37 machine of Raul Meza take the track here at Kansas. Top 10 is filled right now with drivers that have wins on the season with the likes of Nathan Maurer, I have Adam Newbert right there. Some other drivers in the mix that are looking to break through. You look at Brendan Bradfoot right there. We look at Brian Chu in that 51 machine. Morales, who we spoke to here tonight. Top 10 right now, Tyler, is looking very interesting to start off the race.
Yeah, it really is. Brady LaBeouf jumps just inside that top 10 there with his second lap. And I think it speaks to just the quality of competition tonight. First through 15th, all within a tenth of a second of each other. Make that first through 16th as Robbie Richards works down a 31.26 as well. Actually tying Hertwick to the 1,000th, but he'll be slotted in third. His lap win a little bit later, or iRacing timing and scoring won't show me beyond the 1,000th position, but they actually ran identical 31.261s here to lock out second and third position. But it looks like your pole sitter tonight, ladies and gentlemen, barring a great performance from Kyle Hess or Justin White, or maybe Donnie Lyon sneaks one in, it should be Michael McKinnon at this point in time. And you touched on it, Will. Brandon Broadfoot, he is 1 point ahead of Cody Knott right now, the 16th place driver in the points. Brandon Broadfoot needs a very solid performance tonight. He's going to start on the right foot here with the 10th qualifying position so far.
Yeah, you see him right there inside that top 10. Now, Tyler, my question to you here as we watch Justin White and that 2 machine take the track here at Kansas. What happens when you have a three-way tie at the top of the grid? Do you flip a coin between three drivers, or how do you solve that pole position?
So we're only showing the 3.126 to, I believe that's the 100th position, but Michael McKinnon did run a 3.1260, so he is for sure your pole sitter. But Zach Hartwick and Robbie Richards both ran a 3.1261, so they are even to the 1,000th. I'm assuming Hartwick ran his lap first, so he gets the advantage, so that's why they slot him in the second. Maybe there actually is a position timing line beyond the 1,000th. We just don't see it here in the iRacing scoring or in the SDK scoring systems, which is what the viewers at home are watching on the broadcast. So definitely interesting to see how this is all matching up. Justin White's going to slot into the 10th position. That's going to knock Brady LaBeouf down to 12th, maybe even 13th. Brady LaBeouf now down to 13th. So some great laps here. Trey Pitt's going to be the last driver out on track, it looks like. He's going to hope to put down a really solid qualifying effort. Kyle Hess, by the way, slid up into 4th. He also ran a 3.1.26, but he ran a 3.1.263. So he is definitively in the 4th position. So a lot of very close times at the top. Well, hopefully that's indicative of the type of racing we'll get tonight.
Yeah, it looks very tight so far inside that grid as we watch Trey Pitts and that 27 machine here to close out the qualifying session here in the Triple M, pulling 200 here from Kansas. We talked about here tonight there are only 2 more races left in the regular season as Trey Pitts will cut off that truck in that 27 machine. And that will wrap up qualifying here, Tyler. Looks like we're going to go racing here in Kansas.
Yeah, it looks to wrap up the qualifying session here. So we're going to take this time to bring in your pole sitter, I believe, now officially. Your pole sitter for the Triple M pulling 200. That's Michael McKinnon, that 13 hot rod. Michael, I think it's kind of fitting that you end up being the pole sitter for the Triple M pulling 200 here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Yeah, I'll take that, right? Being the namesake of the Triple M pulling. So it was a good lap. Everybody had a pretty good lap there. I pushed a little through 4. I didn't think it would hold up, but got lucky.
I will say, and you spoke to it, great laps from the top 4, all within 0.003 of a second between each other. You just getting the slight nod over Hartwick and Richards, who actually had identical laps, point out racing timing and scoring. Is being up front here to start this race kind of relieving for you? Does it give you a sense of relief knowing that you kind of control the field and hoping that you're going to be in clean air for most of this early first stage?
Yeah, that would be the key. Try to stay in the clean air, but also got to save a little tire here. It is chewing them up a little bit in practice, so we'll see what we can do here and not try to get ran over.
Yeah, I remember you and I talking about that while you were in your practice session, just making sure watching how that truck pushes through 3 and 4. Well, I wish you the best of luck tonight, Mike, and hopefully we'll be talking with you after the race in Victory Lane.
10-4, man. I appreciate it.
That was your pole sitter, Michael McKinnon, with a blistering 31.260 lap. And we're looking to get the trucks gridded up down here. We're looking at your starting order. Michael McKinnon, your pole sitter, we just spoke with them. And you have Zach Hartwick and Robbie Richards with identical times, although it shows Hartwick was actually closer to McKinnon than Richards was here on the further SDK scoring loop. Kyle Hess, though, he'll be your position number 4. Nate Maurer will roll off 5th with Jason Morales in row number 3 with him. Row number 4 will be comprised of Brian Shu and Adam Newbert, the Toyota Sick with the Motorsports teammates and drivers I think you have to watch out for tonight. Meanwhile, row number 5, that'll be Chris Blanchard and Justin White with Will Tiller taking over the rest of the grid.
Yes, sir. We pick up in the 11th position with that 42 machine of Steve Barnett. 12th, we'll have that driver we just touched on, that 24 machine of Brandon Bradfoot. 13th, we'll have Brady LaBeouf in that 9 machine. We've seen the kind of streakiness that Brady can put forth here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. 14th position will be the 89 machine of Sean Hamilton. 15th will be 18 of Justin Lumpkin. 16th, Brandon Bullock. 17th will be Kerry Tribune in that 7. 18th position, the 37 machine of Raul Meza. Raul Meza needs a really good finish here tonight to keep those playoff hopes alive. 19th position will be Tyler Daniels in that 95. And the top 20 position will be rounded out with a 30 machine of Ron Hunter.
Finishing off the field in row number 11, that'll be number 21 machine of Darren Hagan side by side with Trey Pitts in the 27 machine. Row number 12 will have Jason Stevenson and Jason Hall, the 2 Jasons. And row number 13 will have Tim Hammond and Cody Knott, with row number 14 rounding out your field of Torrey Thompson, Donnie Lyons, and Mike Allen will be your last driver here, starting in 29th position. As the trucks start to roll off the grid here at Kansas Motor Speedway, we're looking forward to a great race tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And one I'm sure will be one to excite throughout. These trucks now making their way through 1 and 2. Any parting thoughts before we get the action going here tonight?
What I'm predicting here tonight, Taylor, I'm looking for one of those first-time winners to break through here. Whether they're tight in the playoff standings already inside the top 15 or outside the top 15, look for one of those surprise drivers. We almost had it last week here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Not that Adam Newbert in the 4 machine wasn't a surprise at Indy. He's a very good driver inside that 4. But look for one of those drivers that are lingering on that cut line to have a very good night here tonight.
Yeah, as Michael McKinnon, owner of Triple M Pulling Trucks, pulls the field throughout 3 and 4 here in the Triple M Pulling 200. He's looking to get the field going, waiting for that restart zone, or the start zone here for tonight's event. Green flags in the air. Mike McKinnon, that 99 truck, leads the field to green. Stack up on the inside line behind Nathan Maurer. Brian Shu, maybe some slight contact as we're rolling through the field here in 1 and 2. Field staying pretty intact, 2 by 2 by 2. That's Michael McKinnon holding the bottom through 1 and 2. He's got company behind. We have a wreck behind. Brandon Broadfoot around, a playoff driver who needed a good finish tonight.
Big wreck already here. Caution flag is out already here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. That was down corner number 1. It looks like it. Machine of Raul Meza. Tyler, looking to see here on this instant replay here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Oh my goodness, looks like Brandon Bradfoot's also involved here, Tyler. It looks like this will take place there on the tail end of the pack, right in the middle of positions.
Yeah, it looks like Sean Hamilton gets to the inside of Broadfoot, makes slight contact throughout the middle of 1 and 2. As we get a better angle here from back of Brandon Broadfoot's machine, you should be able to see here. Sean Hamilton's going to come up. Yep, slight contact there. That's Brandon Bullock getting up tail end of that. Hamilton hard into Broadfoot, and it looks like Raul Meza, did he stop in time? A little bit of a nose in there. I don't think it's going to be too bad for Raul Meza, but Sean Hamilton definitely started that incident getting to the back of Brandon Broadfoot. And that's not a way that either one of these drivers wanted to start their race tonight, Will.
Drivers right on the cut line here for the playoffs in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We watch now here on this replay, going to involve Raul Meza, Hamilton in that 89 machine, Brandon Broadfoot. We talked about him. Very strong in that qualifying session. Qualified 12th here tonight. Looks like it's going to have some damage on that 24 machine. And folks, we didn't even get a chance to tell you the format here in the NASRA, here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. No fast repairs for these drivers here tonight. So, going to be a tough night for those guys at the tail end of this pack now.
Yeah, you're seeing a couple of drivers come down pit road. Looks like Mike out with others down pit road. Brandon Bullock is in the pits. Donnie Lyons also in the pits. Sean Hamilton, Raul Meza, Brandon Broadfoot, all with pretty significant damage, with Brandon Bullock as well. 4 drivers with damage. Not really sure what happened with the 60 or the 71. We waiting to hear how all of that went down, maybe throughout driver chat, or maybe we'll get an interview with one of these guys. But right now, still out front is Michael McKinnon, and not much has changed since the start, except for, well, not really sure where we're going. Oh, he dropped from, it looks like, 2nd to 4th there on that initial start. So new position number 2. That's going to be Robbie Richards. Nathan Maurer moves up to position number 3. Brian Chu is going to slide all the way up to 5th. Hartwick drops back to 4th. Kyle Hess will sit in 6th, Christopher Blanchard 7th, Jason Morales 8th, Adam Newbert 9th, and Steve Barnett rounding out your top 10. We're just getting everyone reset here. Not too much shuffling at the front of the pack, but I will say, Will, that wreck has big playoff repercussions for Brandon Broadfoot, and that's going to allow Cody Knott and Adam Newbert to both make up significant ground on that driver ahead of them.
It really will, but watch out here as we take a look at that battle for the top 10 positions. Very early on into this race so far, already under caution. And Tyler, we look at tonight's format here. Stage number 1 will be lap 40, and we'll run another 40 laps down to lap number 90. And then here tonight, a little bit of a different format, Tyler. A shorter run to close out tonight's race here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. A little bit different than what we're used to, where it's at the heavier side of the race is that end mark at the end of this race here tonight. As we talked about, 5 sets of drivers for these drivers here tonight. And Tyler, another thing we talked about off air, 30 to 36 laps on those fuel tanks for these drivers. So watch out in these runs.
I'm expecting after this caution here in stage 1, everyone should be good to go to the end of stage number 1 at least. Where I am going to see maybe some concerns is in stage 2 and stage 3. If we run green all the way throughout, drivers are going to have to push their fuel a little bit or a lot. And how will differing strategy help drivers maybe get into the playoffs by getting a win if they already have the prerequisite number of starts to win and you're in? But I will say, something I didn't see happening this early on, Nathan Maurer already up to 3rd. Didn't have a great practice session. He wasn't really inside the top 5. He's already sitting up there in 3rd, had a good qualifying effort. I believe he qualified 5th, so he's up 2 spots already. I think Nathan Maurer may be one to watch. He did win at Kentucky earlier this season. He won at Darlington. He knows how to get the job done on these intermediate tracks well.
Here in this season, a man on a mission. 3 wins on the season, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Nathan Maurer, you never see that 971 outside of the top 10, rarely outside of the top 5. Now here tonight has that truck position once again for another great run here tonight as we cruise down this backstretch. Here, about to go great flag racing here once again, the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Yeah, Michael McKinnon will lead the field down the backstretch, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Drivers set up to go. Again, row number 1 will be Mike McKinnon with Robbie Richards to his outside. Row 2, Nathan Maurer and Zach Hartwick. Row 3, Brian Chu, Kyle Hess will make up that row. Brian Chu, Kyle Hess, that's correct. So those first 3 rows getting ready to get going here. Michael McKinnon waiting to get to that restart zone as they come up with 4 here. We're going to try it again here, Will. The Triple M pulling 200 here from Kansas Speedway. iRacing Pace Truck pulls off, goes down pit road. Mike McKinnon's just got to wait for that restart zone, and then he can hit the gas whenever he wants. Robbie Richards crowd him a little bit. Michael McKinnon gets a great restart there. The inside line doesn't stack up. Kind of gets spread out really early. Nathan Maurer is going to have a shot to the inside of Robbie Richards as they enter into 1 and 2. But Michael McKinnon, multiple truck length lead here entering 1 and 2.
Michael McKinnon's creeping the field around 1 and 2 right now. Our race leader battle for second right now. Brewing between Robbie Richards and that 48 machine, the 971 Nathan Maurer, as we're single file though. Down the backstretch, down to corner number 3.
Yeah, Michael McKinnon didn't get the run off of number 2 that he wanted. Zach Hartwick really sending in that 6 truck here in 3 and 4. He's looking to the outside of Brian Shu. Can't make the pass there. We are single file 1 through 5. Looks like Adam Newbert to the inside of Jason Morales. That's a battle. Christopher Blanchard to the inside of Zach Hartwick. There's a battle for position. Blanchard to the inside. He'll make the pass entering 1.
Things are starting to heat up now here at Kansas as we now have an official lap in the books here. No caution flags yet on the racetrack as we have battles brewing. Now Adam Newbert and that Ford machine's trying to, as we talked about, lock himself into the playoffs here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series as we watch this battle between Hartwick and Blanchard still pursue down the front stretch. Make it lap 8 down to 1.
For those keeping track of the points at home, Raul Meza and Brandon Bullock both still on pit road. Adam Newbert just ran your fastest lap of the race so far with a 31.42. But we're going to expect faster laps throughout. Contact between Blanchard and Chu here through 2. They're going to get tight. Zach Hartwick's going to lose some ground here. Hartwick battling Blanchard here off of 2 as they're going to be side by side entering 3 and 4.
See Brian Chu rocking that white Monster Energy paint scheme here tonight. That's the Zero Sugar Monster Energy for you folks at home. We watch Brian Chu in that 51 machine, one of those drivers that's currently just hovering inside those point standings here tonight. Always strong inside that 51. Now bound for position inside the top 5.
Brian Chu's looking to hold position number 4 over Christopher Blanchard. He seems to have a fast. Meanwhile, Adam Newbert to the outside of Zach Hartwick. Hartwick started off well, but he's falling back in a hurry. Make that Adam Newbert now looking for position number 6 to the outside here in 3 and 4. Kyle Hess also had a good start. He's fallen back 5 positions. He's already back all the way to 9th. Bray LaBeouf looking to make a pass here to his outside and to his inside. He's going to have Steve Barnett. So 3 wide for battle position number 9.
Drivers wasting no time here tonight, realizing there's only 3 races left in this regular season. Whether you're locked in or outside of the playoffs looking in, you know the circumstances here tonight at Kansas. It only gets harder after tonight as we dig down to corner number 3, 10 laps into this race.
Mike McKinnon holding steady up front. Nathan Maurer has a rear view mirror full of Robbie Richards, and really the whole field behind him. First side-by-side battles. Adam Newbert to the inside of Hartwick for position number 6. It looks like Adam Newbert should be able to complete the pass into 1 and 2 this time. That he will. Everyone should be single file for the first 7 trucks here throughout the field. First battle for position. Outside of that, that's Brady LaBeouf and Steve Barnett.
As we watch, still right on board with the 86 machine of Kyle Hess here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Has a courtside seat of that battle in front of him as we watch the Robbie. It looks like that's Steve Barnett in that 42 machine right there, rocking that Valentine's heart on the back of that truck here tonight. As now he has that 9 machine of Brady LaBeouf in front of him. Brady LaBeouf now, Tyler, starting to build up some very good finishes here as we creep into those playoffs.
Brady LaBeouf needs them in regards to having the momentum in the playoff, but not necessarily for points. He's already locked into the playoffs with a win earlier on the season, but he's looking for more wins. He wants to add more trophies to the trophy case. He wants to really improve that momentum as we enter the season. Meanwhile, you see the field fanning out through 3 and 4, trying to find the lane they want to use. Brady LaBeouf's going to go to the high side. Adam Newbert, by the way, got around Christopher Blanchard and make him position number 5. So although you have 3 Chevys out front, the 2 Toyotas sitting in 4th and 5th, like I predicted, coming on early here in this race.
Settling into the pace here, the Triple M pulling 200 here live on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Tyler, you touched on it there. What makes the Toyotas just a little bit better than the rest of the manufacturers out there?
I'm not necessarily sure how they approach the track, but it has to be with that the Toyota stable of Truck Series drivers for the last decade or so has been the cream of the crop. With Kyle Busch Motorsports originally being a Toyota team until this year, where they're now a Chevrolet team, they had the best drivers, and you had Thor Sport Trucks with Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton's won here multiple times at Kansas Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch has won here multiple times at Kansas Motor Speedway. These drivers, they just seem to have the top talent. And tonight, I think that still kind of holds true. Brian Chu is a very, very solid driver. Adam Newbert won last week. We know he has the talent to get the job done. Justin Lubkin is a very fast driver, although he's struggling early on. He's back down in 18th right now, so he's trying to find his footing. But they have a solid stable of drivers, and I think they have the talent to get it done. It's just, can they put together a race for 200 miles? That's all that matters, Will.
There's indeed here 15 laps into stage number 1 here, the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We look down that grid as you were just talking about, Tyler. I think we're having a little bit of a problem there down into corner number 3. That's a blacked out truck there on that top side. Looks to be losing just a little bit of pace on that top side line. But Tyler, we look at that grid so far. Chris Blanchard up 5 spots from the drop of the green flag in that 14 truck, currently 4th. We look down just a little bit more. Bray LaBeouf in that 9 up 6 spots. We also look at Adam Newbert up 3 spots, up inside the top 5, currently 5th. Adam Newbert, last week's winner at Indy.
Yeah, and actually that black truck that we saw was the 18 of Justin Lumpkin. He's down 8 positions so far since the start of this race. He's really struggling with the balance of that truck early on. Meanwhile, his 2 stick-with-it motorsports teammates, Brian Chu, Adam Newbert, sitting 5th and 6th respectively. They have the balance of their truck where they want it. First battle for position inside the top 10. That's Steve Barnett to the inside. I believe it's Steve Barnett to the inside of Zach Hartwick. Right behind Bray LaBeouf. Kyle Hess, meanwhile, is coming to the inside of him. That's Carriage Review making a bold move into 1. He's going to look to complete the pass, and Jason Morales and Justin White are looking to pounce behind, but they're still side-by-side off the corner.
Carriage Review, Kyle Hess side by side down to 3 right now, 17 laps into this race. Carriage Review, looks like Hess is going to go very high on the corner here at Kansas. Morales will go to the middle, feel out that line. Hess will clear on the top side. Carriage Review still low as we cross the line, make it lap 19 down to corner number 1. Carriage Review will get that position from Hess on the apex of 1 and 2.
Single file now, although spaced out throughout the corners, trying to get some clean air on the nose of their trucks. Currently no side-by-side battles for position, although Kyle Hess looking to the inside of Carriage View this time down the back straightaway. He'll look to make a move into 3 and 4. Can he hold the bottom here? I don't think he's going to have enough to make the move here, and that's going to allow Jason Morales to sneak up into the picture here as they exit and go on the front straightaway. And you're going to see them fan out. Some will dive to the apron. Some stay up high. Justin White now looking to the inside of, I believe, Dan Hagan for position here entering 1 and 2. So moves being made just outside the top 10, but most of the top 10 is single file.
Yeah, this pace is very frantic here tonight. We're watching battles still brewing here as Morales in that 5 truck will move into the 11th position around Kyle Hess in that 86 machine, who is now down 9 spots from the drop of the green flag. Still trying to hold on here as that 2 machine of Justin White will take a position from the 86 of Hess as we cross the line here down into 1.
Yeah, Raul Meza, meanwhile, is 12 laps down for those keeping track at home, and Brandon Bullock is 15 laps down. So pretty big gaps for those 2 drivers to overcome at this point in time. Notice Brandon Bullock's 17 machine. He had some hard contact early on in the race. So, but back out front still, Michael McKinnon led most of the laps so far. He's controlling the field, holding just over a quarter of a second gap on Nate Mallard, who's still on his tire tracks, and that's Robbie Richards still in 3rd.
Yeah, Robbie Richards in the 3rd position there in that 48. Nathan Maurer right there in 2nd. Can we look at the 4th position of Chris Blanchard in that 14, currently inside that top 5. Still a long way to go here in the Triple M Pulling 200 here on the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series as we dig down to corner number 3 here live on the NASRA 360 Racing Network.
Yeah, we're now past the halfway point here in stage number 1. And I have to say, well, after that early caution, the drivers have been rather respectful, I would say, so far. Kind of giving people space where they need to, and all running very different lines, making the racing very, very good so far.
Yeah, very different pace than what we're used to here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network here. Usually in the early stages of these Monday night races, it's more of a feeling out process. You tend to see one driver dominate the stage. Here tonight, though, Tyler, a lot of battles for position, a lot of drivers trying to move up the grid, a lot of big movers inside of that top 10. Currently, drivers up 9 positions, 4 positions, 3 positions. We got Dan Hagan down in 11th, up 10 spots from the drop of the green flag. So a very fast pace to start off the race here tonight.
Bray LaBeouf is down pit road. They must be concerned about fuel. I thought they would be good to make it to the end of this stage, but Bray LaBeouf does not think he has enough. He has come down pit road for service. We'll have to see how long this stop is, if it's just a splash of gas, or if he's going to get a full set of tires with it. It's a pretty long pit stop time. It looks like he's going to do full service on that number 9 purple and gold machine. And yep, that's going to be a full 4-tire stop with gas. They hurt him here late in this stage.
Now, Taylor, as we watch right now here on lap 24, we talked about how important this race is here tonight with only 2 races left in that regular season. Is there ever a point as a driver, knowing that you're locked into those playoffs, that you ever take a deep breath, you realize you're into those races, or is that same strategy week in and week out?
I think once you're locked in any of these NASRA racing series, once you're locked in, your mindset is shifted from running consistently to getting race wins, getting stage wins. I know myself, having been in that position before, being locked into a playoff position at one point in time, that kind of frees me up and allows me to do whatever I want looking at the remaining races in that playoff cycle. So kind of just allowing myself to just focus in and figure out what I need to do and kind of understanding tracks and seeing where I can maybe optimize strategy to put myself in position for stage wins and race wins. That's what you have to do as a driver once you're locked in the playoffs. And I'm surprised we're not seeing, we've seen two drivers who are already locked in. I'm pretty sure Christopher Blanchard, Brady LaBeouf come down pit road, get their service. I'm surprised we're not seeing a driver like Nathan Maurer maybe try an alternative strategy to get himself towards the front of these packs and here in some of these races.
As we still watch Michael McKinnon lead the way in that 99 machine, we see now a single file down that backstretch down into the corner. The 69 machine of Tim Hammond, one of those drivers we talked about just inside that bubble. Now we will watch Kerry Tribune in that 7 as well, starting to put some heat on the 6 machine of Heartbreak across the line down to 1.
Important to note, Brady LaBeouf did just run the fastest lap of the race with a 31.38. He was a second and a half faster than your leader's last lap. So Brady LaBeouf taking a gamble on that pit strategy. He's a lap down right now. Does he have the speed to catch back up and unlap himself here before the end of this stage? If the leaders don't pit, I don't think he can. That being said, he's going to give himself an opportunity to, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. The 9 machine Brady LaBeouf starting to experiment just a little bit here tonight at Kansas. One of those drivers that's just inside, I'd say, the comfortable zone, if you will, of the point standings. Definitely we'll see that 9 machine in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series playoff races here tonight with a bold strategy to start off tonight's race, Tyler.
Yeah, it is a bold strategy, but another driver did attempt that strategy. That's Christopher Blanchard. So you have two drivers on the strategy. Generally, when you see a strange strategy, you see one driver. We have another driver pitting, and that's Adam Newbert. Adam Newbert has just come down pit road, leaving his top 5 position. So I think you're seeing the fact that drivers don't believe they can make it to the end of the stage without pitting, Will.
Yeah, we talked about this off air before we went live here tonight, Tyler. What would that look like? We predicted a window of around 30 to 36 laps. Would drivers stay out, take a little bit more of a gamble, knowing what's on the line here tonight? Would they push the envelope? Starting to see some drivers that are a bit more comfortable go ahead and get that early pit window out of the way.
That battle for the lead, though, starting to heat up thanks to lap traffic. Nate Maurer is now within 0.2 of a second. You see Robbie Richards, the third-place truck, come down pit road. Just saw Adam Newbert come off pit road. Leaders went by, but that battle for the lead has gotten significantly tighter in the last 5 laps, Will. Michael McKinnon has a rear-view mirror full of Nate Maurer.
As we count down stage number 1 here, 11 laps to go. Nathan Maurer, that 971. Now creeping up on that 99 machine. Off of corner number 4 here, down the front stretch. Making a lap 31 down into corner number 1.
Yeah, I didn't see this speed out of Nate Maurer in practice. I think it's good that he's showing it here early on in this race. Kind of a concern. Didn't run great in practice. Didn't run a lot of laps in practice, Will, so seeing that he has the speed early on to get on to the back of Mike McKinnon here in traffic and chase him down. Good racing as he may have an attempt for the lead here entering 3 and 4. As he looks to the inside, he does. Cannot make the pass work here, but he's going to try again here off of 4.
Things are getting a little dicey right there as we're mixing in. Trucks coming off of pit road and trucks still on the lead lap right now. We see that 51 machine of Brian Chu. Not talking about him here too much tonight. Currently in the 3rd position, 2 seconds off the pace. Quietly having a good night so far in that 51 machine.
Yeah, meanwhile, Steve Barnett and Dan Hagan have both just come down pit road. So that's 2 more to those who have pitted. Last driver on the track who has not pitted in position-wise, that's Brandon Bradford involved in that one incident. He's in 15th. Brady LaBeouf will cycle to 60. Nathan Maurer in for pit stops. Nathan Maurer is in. Oh, he misses the cone. He missed the cone. He went through the infield grass. That's going to be an illegal pit entry for Nathan Maurer.
Nathan Maurer here early on will have a pit road penalty in that 971 machine. I think, though, Tyler, that 971 can afford a couple mistakes here towards the end of the regular season, as now we're going to watch this reshuffle of the grid as we count down stage number 1, which will conclude on lap 40. Currently still the 99 machine. Michael McKinnon now down pit road.
Yep, Michael McKinnon is down pit road right now. And it'll be interesting to see if Brian Chu stays out. Brian Chu will stay out. He will take over as your race leader. Brian Chu now taking the field into 1 and 2. He's got Zach Hartwick behind him. That means we're just about 10 trucks on the lead lap, I believe, once everything cycles back. No, Brady LaBeouf is actually already unlapped himself from Brian Chu. So Brady LaBeouf may have played this strategy out to near perfection because he will not be a lap down at the end of the stage if Brian Chu and others do not pit. Meanwhile, Robbie Richards, Adam Newberg, they got to be concerned. It's going to be tight.
Tight indeed, as we have 7 laps to go here in stage number 1 of the Triple M, pulling 200 here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. As now we watch Justin Lumpkin, that 18 machine on the top side, the 24 machine of Brandon Bradfoot. Now watch that 24 machine, Tyler. Early trouble here in this race. Watch if that 24 can improve on those early race troubles.
I'm wondering if what Justin Lumpkin did was back off early, saw him falling out early through stage 1 to see if he can make it to the end of this stage without pitting. It's a bold strategy, but if it works, he's going to trap a lot of talented drivers on a lap down.
Justin Lumpkin in that 18 machine, quietly having a pretty good season behind the wheel. As now we watch Hartwick in that 6 machine head down pit road as we count down the laps in stage number 1. Has been a very frantic pace so far here tonight. Now we watch drivers reshuffle through the grid as we got very tight on 3 and 4 right there. Adam Newbert, Nathan Maurer, and Justin White just got to know each other on the corner there. Across the track, make it lap 38 down to 1.
And that could have been disastrous for multiple drivers who are having good nights. Realize Nathan Maurer 2 laps behind that group of drivers because he had to come back down pit road for a violation entering pit road. So right now, Nathan Maurer is 2 laps behind the leader. I believe Brian Chu, by the way, just said he was coming in for pit stops here. We'll be interested to see. Everyone has taken a full cycle of pit stops. Correction, not everyone. Robbie Richards, Adam Newbert took gas only. Jason Hall took gas only. So these drivers taking a different strategy here. We'll see if it pays off. Everyone else, though, came in for full service. No, Christopher Blanchard also came in, it looks like, just for fuel. But most of the field has come in for full service, Will.
3 laps to go in stage number 1, as now we're watching a little bit more traffic down pit road right now. A few names that everybody knows right now. We'll see who our race leader is when this all shakes out. Currently still Justin White on top of that scoring grid right now with 3 laps to go. We'll see who can snag stage number 1 here in the Triple M, pulling 200 on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network.
It is a very interesting end of stage 1 indeed. Pit lane entry has been closed. These drivers have to make it to the end if they haven't pitted. That includes Justin White, Ron Hunter, Tim Hammond, Trey Pitts, and Justin Lumpkin. If this works, they're going to trap a lot of drivers a lap down if they can survive and make it to the end of the stage. And they're going to try, but they have made their bets. Pit road is officially closed. They have to line it. Can Justin White make it around 1 1/4 more laps? Oh, he's coasting heavily. I don't think he has enough gas to do it. You're going to see a big run from lap trucks behind him. That's Steve Barnett and Kerry Trevere are going to get by the leader here on the front straightaway.
As now we watch White cross the line here with 1 to go in stage number 1. See if Justin White can complete this stage out here on that 2 machine around the corner number 2. Down the backstretch here as we watch stage number 1 come to an end.
This may have ended poorly. It looks like a driver's in. Ron Hunter has to pit while pits are closed. That's going to be a penalty. Trey Pitts may have ran out of gas on track. He was quite slow, I believe. Meanwhile, Justin White has looked to have saved enough fuel. Justin White will win stage number 1 here at Kansas Motor Speedway in a nail-biting finish. Brian Chu, I'm not sure exactly where he's going to end up. We'll have to wait for everything to cycle through. Caution flag is officially out. Looks like Tim Hammond also ran out of gas. He'll be entering the closed pit, so a lot of interesting penalties to be handed out here soon by race control.
Look what happens when you put that pit window inside of a stage. You have endings like that here tonight. We watched that stage being dominated with the regular names we've seen here. Michael McKinnon, Nathan Maurer, that 971. But once the fuel strategy started to come into play, that's when you have a few of those different names, those thinkers, if you will, rise to the top of the grid. As we had Justin White snagging that first stage.
Yeah, it looks like what it'll end up being is your stage points will be going to Justin White, Jason Hall, Justin Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf, Robbie Richards, Adam Newbert, Kerry Trevue, Steve Barnett, Dan Hagan, and Tim Hammond. Although Tim Hammond did have to come down pit road. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this will play out here. And with points and how all that went. Michael McKinnon will be on the lead lap. He did get his lap back just before the stage caution came out. There's a couple of drivers who did. But it'll be interesting to see how this field comes through, as it looks like some of these drivers have gotten EOL penalties for running low on fuel.
As we watched that two machine, it was interesting to watch that two complete that stage. And we look at those stage results here tonight, Tyler. We're looking at official scoring. It looks like it's going to be a little shaken up there from all the pitting and everything. But a few drivers here tonight, other than Justin White and that two machine. We're going to look at Bray LaBeouf, another smart strategy down the stretch there in stage number 1. Adam Newbert in that 4. Kerry Tribute, Steve Barnett in that 42 machine as well. And talked about Tim Hammond having to serve that penalty there as he pit during caution. But my question to you, Tyler, watch the 99 Michael McKinnon there have a very strong run there to start off the stage. Will we see that 99 back at the top of the grid before this race is over?
You may, although I think that because of strategy calls, he's going to be a little bit shuffled in the middle of, which is, we haven't seen his truck in traffic all night long. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this stage number 2, the longest of all the stages here tonight. And it's going to be a different challenge because barring a weird caution in 5 to 10 laps from now, I think you're not going to have the same strategy you had here. Everyone will have to pit in stage number 2. I don't think there's no if, and, or but about it. It's going to provide unique racing challenges throughout the second stage.
Yeah, as we're still under caution here in this second stage, awaiting the start of the second stage, we'll run down to lap number 90 right now. We'll see if maybe we can't catch up with our stage number 1 winner. See if he's available to chat there. I'm not seeing him there in the chat. Maybe we can catch him there. And it looks like we do have the two machine of Justin White. If you want to take it away, Tyler.
Yeah, Justin White, your stage number 1 winner here tonight. Justin, you made a strategy call. You saved fuel early on. You were able to just barely make it to the end. How close were you on gas?
I actually ran out on the cooldown after the stage, so I ran completely out. But at this point, I need playoff points. I've already got a win, so why not just throw caution to the wind and see what happens?
And we were talking about that in the booth, and I feel like we haven't seen enough drivers be aggressive here for stage wins or race wins with alternative strategy throughout the season. Do you think this race is going to mark the point from here on out? You're going to see some bolder strategies until we get to the playoffs.
Oh, we're definitely going to see bolder strategy. Absolutely. These guys are going to start looking at playoff points as we get down to the end of the season and go, crap, I don't have enough, and then here we go.
And we talked about that early incident, taking out some cut line drivers or damaging some cut line drivers' hopes. Obviously, Justin, you're locked in. You get a stage win tonight. That's another playoff point for you. Are you focused kind of how like drivers like myself would approach it? Stage wins, playoff points, finishing position doesn't matter if it's not first.
That's it. Yep. If you can collect 20 stage points and then finish, say, like 20th, that's almost like a win in some instances. So that's kind of what you want to do.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you talking with us, Justin. Best of luck the rest of the way, and good luck navigating all this traffic here.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
And that was your Stage 2 winner, Justin White, here in the Triple M Pulling 200 from Kansas Speedway. And Will, I got to say, so far, Kansas has yet to disappoint. It has been pretty much nonstop action. We've had fuel strategy. We've had multi-lane racing. We've had drivers making passes. We've had a pretty early wreck. We've seen drivers get frustrated. We've seen bold strategies from other drivers. Are we expecting that to continue? Because I think we should.
Yeah, and that was only stage number 1 in the books here tonight. So only can wait and see what stage number 2 has in store, as it looks like the field will be led by the 7 machine of Kerry Tribute. Now, Kerry is starting to feel a little bit of a mojo inside that 7. Now, let's watch this restart. If that 7 can lead the way back here on the green.
And we're going to quickly reset the field here for everyone watching at home. That's Kerry Tribute, road side of row number 1. Jason Hall at his outside. Row number 2, Brady LaBeouf and Dan Hagan. Row number 3 will be made up by Robbie Richards and Adam Newbert. Row 4 will be Steve Barnett and your Stage 2 winner, Justin White. And then row number 5, I believe that'll be Tim Hammond and Michael McKinnon. So rounding out your top 10 here is where you're looking to get ready to go back racing here. Green flag here in stage number 2. Kerry Tribute will lead the field to the restart zone. We have a little bit of a field confusion. Kerry Tribute gets off to a good start, though. Meanwhile, It's going to be a drag race into 1 and 2 between Brady LaBeouf and Jason Hall.
As Kerry Tribute takes him down in the corner of that 7 machine, now already starting to battle for position right now. Justin White in that 2 machine trying to hold off. We are 2 by 2 down. That pack of drivers almost 3 wide on the backstretch is Robbie Richards and Brady LaBeouf battling out for position around 3 and 4.
Jason Hall thought about making it 3 wide on the back straightaway, thought better of it. He's going to allow Steve Barnett to his inside through 3 and 4. Barnett in that 42 machine, he's looking to make his way towards the front. And maybe have the ending to stage number 1 he wanted. Oh, they're going to be close here as they enter 1 and 2. No contact made, thankfully. But Adam Newbert's going to dive to the inside of Jason Hall here and try to take away position number 4.
Right now, Justin White in that 2 machine is right there holding on down that backstretch. Justin White in that 2 coming off a big stage number 1 victory, Tyler. But he even mentioned it in that interview. Kind of comfortable here tonight, knowing already locked into those playoffs. Now we're watching Michael McKinnon in that 99 machine here. This is to stay inside the top 10. We watched Brandon Bradfoot in that 24 machine. I talked about it, Tyler. Watch out after those early troubles here tonight. Very fast in practice, very fast in qualifying. Watch that 24 just slowly creep up the grid as we're down the backstretch.
That was 3 wide there in the middle of that pack. It's hard to tell who's on the lead lap and who isn't anymore. For those of you at home, Zach Hartwick not on the lead lap. Neither is a couple other drivers, Jason Stevenson, Chris Blanchard. A bunch of drivers stuck a lap down, so you're seeing drivers trying to figure out where they're at. Meanwhile, new race leader, that's Robbie Richards. Adam Newbert's going to slide up into second last week's winner. We got a driver on the wall, it's Brady LaBeouf.
LaBeouf just scrapes the topside wall here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Gonna keep it clean on that top side, though. Gonna battle it out with some of those lap trucks we were just mentioning. As I mentioned there, Brady LaBeouf still now our last truck on that lead lap. 13 trucks left on that lead lap here in stage number 2.
Meanwhile, though, the battle up front is roaring. That's Adam Newbert to the inside of Robbie Richards for position number 1. Coming to the inside, they make a little bit of contact entering. Robbie Richards going to go up the hill. Steve Barnett's going to look to the inside. Oh, they got to watch the door there. That's going to allow Adam Newbert to take the lead off of 2. New race leader, a Toyota Tundra. Adam Newbert in that 4 machine.
As the Toyotas are running here tonight, Adam Newbert said, "Hey, how you doing?" as he bounced off the side of that 48 truck to the lead. Adam Newbert crosses the line down to 1 as our race leader.
Meanwhile, we may have 3 wide for the race lead. Steve Barnett thinks better of it as we enter 1 and 2. Adam Newbert to the inside of Robbie Richards. Meanwhile, Robbie Richards powering around the outside here through 1 and 2. Brian Chu, the other Toyota, sitting there in 5th. He's got company to the inside of the lap truck of Christopher Blanchard. So that 14 machine is a lap down. So he is not racing for position. Top 4, though, battling hard. Richards takes the lead, entering 3 and 4.
Robbie Richards in that 48 machine having a very good season here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series will take us across the line, make it 52 laps down into corner number 1. What a battle we have right now, Tyler. As we come around 1 and 2, we have battles heating up here at the top of the grid.
What a move by Jason Hall around the outside through 1 and 2. He powered through and gets position number 2. He's looking for position number 1, entering 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Adam Newbert's got his teammate to his outside. That's Brian Chu, that 51 Toyota Tundra. You have drivers racing. Nathan Maurer slow off the pace on the bottom. Looks like his night may be over as we see the field sparing out 3 wide throughout the front straightaway. Lap trucks mixed in with lead lap trucks. Jason Hall is your new race leader.
As you see, Jason Hall piloting that machine here tonight, rocking that Kansas City Chiefs paint scheme, feeling very good off of last night's win. I'm not, as I maybe put a little bit of money on those Philadelphia Eagles. That's okay, though. Here tonight, feeling that energy off of that Super Bowl win. Still a race leader across the line. Make a lap 54 down to 1.
Adam Newbert may be uncomfortable with how his truck's currently handling. Meanwhile, his teammate Brian Chu seems quite comfortable with his truck. Steve Barnett, though, seems even more comfortable than everyone else. He goes to the outside of Brian Chu through 1 and 2. Put Steve Barnett in position number 3 for the time being. He's looking for position number 2, though. He's to the outside of Robbie Richards. We entered 3 and 4. Jason Hall, we haven't talked much about him all season long. Where is he when it matters? He's up front. He's looking for a playoff spot.
Jason Hall is trying to achieve greatness here tonight. Up 23 spots here tonight in this race. 23, the number of the GOAT in basketball, Michael Jordan. Will he replicate that greatness here tonight? Jason Hall, so race leader down to corner number 3.
But he's got company. Steve Barnett gets to his inside, and that's going to be a pass for the lead entering 3 and 4. I think Steve Barnett can clear him off of 4. Robbie Richards looking to follow suit. And that's the lap truck of Christopher Blanchard trying to get a lap back the old-fashioned way by driving around the leader. He has the speed to do it, I believe, right now, Will. But can he get by these guys who are battling hard for the lead?
Stage number 2, very calm so far. No cautions on the racetrack. Hall in that 64 machine now has a battle on his hands, just like the Kansas City Chiefs had with Jalen Hurts last night. See if Jason Hall can be like his Chiefs and achieve greatness here. Be victorious here tonight in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series as we come off of 4. They're side by side for second place right now down to corner number 1.
Battle that we may have to talk about here is the battle for the overall regular season points champion. Nate Maurer, 6 laps down now. He is currently in 23rd. Justin White won Stage 1. He's currently in 5th. Also, Nathan Maurer, no Stage 1 points. So that battle for the regular season championship, well, is also up for grabs now.
Yeah, everything is up for grabs with 3 races to go here this season as we're down the front stretch, make it lap 58. Stage number 2 will conclude on lap number 90. This season has been awesome so far. I was looking at those race results before tonight's broadcast, Tyler. You know, to start off this season, of course, we had Nathan Maurer with a bunch of wins, 3 wins in a row, had that turkey dinner right there in the middle of the season. Some other drivers came in the mix as well. We look at the likes of Robbie Richards in that 48 machine, a few other drivers, surprise drivers, Adam Newbert last week. So this season has really showed us there's some drivers that, you know, dominate week in and week out, but there's other drivers to watch out for that could be surprise winners. Now here tonight, Jason Hall up 22 spots here tonight is one of those drivers to watch out for.
He clears himself off Robbie Richards on turn number 2. Robbie's had some choice words for Jason there exiting the corner. Meanwhile, it's going to let Chris Blanchard to the inside of Robbie Richards through 3 and 4. Will he take the position? No, I don't think you'll see Blanchard do much. He's pretty comfortable for position right now, I would say. Not really battling anyone lap down. Correction, he is battling Brian Chu, who's a lap down. So that's actually really the battle I think we need to focus on. That's not whenever these guys are battling for position. And that's the battle between the 51 and the 14. They're fighting for the lucky dog, Will.
They're fighting for the lucky dog right now. That's Brian Chu in that 51. That's Chris Blanchard on that top side inside that 14 machine here on round 3 and 4. So side by side for that lucky dog. We look down that grid there. Lucky dog will probably put you around the 20th position here tonight. As we look at the pace tonight, around 12th is still competitive with Cody Knight. We talked about Cody Knight. Right on that bubble line, up 14 spots from the drop of the green flag, currently in 12th.
Yeah, Brady LaBeouf, that damage when he hit that outside wall has been significant. He's running low 34 second lap times. Meanwhile, leader's running mid 32 second lap times. So Brady LaBeouf probably has some choice words for the driver that put him in that position. We may have to get an interview with him, see exactly what happened with that situation. But right now, battle for the lucky dog is heating up. Brian Chu's directly behind Chris Blanchard. And meanwhile, the battle for 3rd, Justin White sliding up to 3rd. You see Nathan Maurer, who's currently, I want to say, he's many laps down at this point in time. I believe he's 7 laps down now from your race leader, Steve Barnett.
Steve Barnett in that 42 machine still leading the way. Robbie Richards in that 48 machine going to prefer that top side lane. Justin White in that 2 said, you know what? All the pressure is off. I've already got a win this season. I'm locked in. I'm trying to go for stage victories. Justin White now creeping to the inside of that 48 machine. Around 1 and 2. 63 laps into this race down the backstretch.
I'm confused to how Justin Lumpkin ended up multiple laps down, because I believe he finished top 10 in the stage. I'm wondering if maybe there was an incident that occurred. No, he did not. He ended up not finishing top 10 in the stage. I guess maybe he ran out of fuel at one point or another. Very, very interesting to see what happened to him, because I thought he had made it to the end, but he may have came down pit road while it was closed, and that would have been a penalty that has put him in the position he's in currently. So, fortunately, it looks like a rough night for the 18 Toyota Tundra. Meanwhile, though, the battle up front kind of slipping away from the other drivers. Steve Barnett's opened up a bit of a gap here for the race lead.
Look at that race lead right now. Adam Newber in that 4 machine. So trying to swim his way to the top. We look at Hall in that 64 machine as well. But Tyler, you just touched on it here. Stage number 2. Some drivers that we're hoping for big nights, you're going to have disappointing runs. Once again, the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Look at the likes of Raul Meza in that 37. Now 14 laps down. Nathan Maurer, essentially our points leader, 7 laps down here tonight. You just touched on a name as well. Justin Lumpkin down 3 laps here at Kansas Motor Speedway with 2 races to go in the regular season. That's not how you want to get those mojo going into those playoff races.
And another driver is about to go a lap down, make that the number 9 of Brady LaBeouf. Leader is coming on him and Brandon Bullock in a hurry. Brady LaBeouf's about to lose his lap here. Meanwhile, Robbie Richards and Justin White battling hard for position number 2. But Brandon Bullock and Brady LaBeouf, they're going to kind of end up boxing Steve Barnett. Nope, he's going to go around the outside here, entering 3 and 4.
Barnett to the outside of Brady LaBeouf right now, around 3 and 4. Steve Barnett, our race leader, is now starting to eat up the field like Pac-Man with those little yellow dots as we cross the line right now down to corner number 1 here in the Triple M Pulling 200.
Now everyone else has to navigate their way through traffic in interesting ways, doing between the middle, around the outside. Drivers are having to navigate this traffic because there's a lot of drivers who are just off the pace, whether it be from accidents or from strategies or just from inability to get the truck to handle the way they want to. Well, you're seeing a pretty wide range of pace after seeing such a very, very competitive qualifying session.
A very calm pace here in stage number 2. No caution flags here on the racetrack, but we look at Brady LaBeouf. You know, you touched on here a very fast truck inside that 9. We look at those lap times. Has the fastest lap time out there in that 9 machine. Now, currently just trying to hang on here tonight as you look at Hall to the inside of Brady LaBeouf in that 9 machine. Brady LaBeouf's going to be down the grid a lap down here. 68 laps into the race. Still a long way to go here in stage number 2.
And credit to Jason Hall, he's still holding on to the 5th place position, although how long, uncertain. That's Tim Hammond right behind him. They're battling for position. Jason Morales and Kyle Hess behind them, but you're seeing pit stops already beginning. Mike McKinnon, Kerry Tribute, they're both in to start this cycle of pit stops here in stage number 2. I believe we're just past the halfway point in this stage, so I would expect to see more stops throughout here.
Creeping up to that window, Tyler. We looked at it there in stage number 1. We're looking at around 30 to 36 laps of being that fuel window. Some drivers, though, in stage number 1 preferred that early window. As now we look at Justin White, and that 2 machine will head down pit road, along with Brian True in that 51.
Other drivers, I believe, coming in with them. That's is that Christopher Blanchard in as well? It's uncertain at this time, but multiple drivers did end up coming down pit road with that group. So interesting to see how this pit strategy shakes out for everyone. So we have just over 20 laps to go here in stage number 2. Your race leader, Steve Barnett, your winner from Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember all the way back in, I believe, November, Will. So it's been a long time since Steve Barnett's been to victory lane.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you win, just as long as you win. Steve Barnett and that 42 machine is trying to join that list of multi-time winners in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Now we're starting to see those dominoes start to fall, those pit stops, those green flag pit stops, if you will, here as we're counting down stage number 2. Just about 20 laps to go. We saw what happened in stage number 1 with Justin White sliding in that 2 machine. Let's now see who's one of those trucks that surprises us here in stage number 2.
Yeah, Nathan Maurer is going to unlap himself, so he will go 6 laps down now versus 7. So he'll get a lap back there. Adam Newbert, Jason Hall, both down pit road at this point in time. So we're still waiting on pit stops from Cody Knott, Dan Hagan, Kyle Hess, Jason Morales, and Steve Barnett for this pit cycle. Christopher Blanchard as well. We are waiting for a pit stop from him. Meanwhile, though, it looks like the rest of the field has come down for their service. So waiting for pit stops to cycle through. Steve Barnett, your race leader, he's now coming down pit road. Christopher Blanchard will now get his lap back temporarily. He is praying for a caution at this point.
as we watch now as the field's going to reshuffle. Lap 73 here in the Triple M, pulling 200. We watch stage number 1 with a surprise winner of Justin White in that 2 machine, who revealed to us, Tyler, the strategy for some of these drivers here is those stage points.
It really is, especially for Justin White now that Nathan Mauer's having the night he's having. You know, there's a huge advantage if he were to go out and win both stages and then have a solid top 10 night. He can make up almost all the ground he needed to on Nathan Mauer, and this is a points battle. So I would say maybe Justin White didn't realize coming into this that there was such a good battle entering the regular season standings, but it is now opened up. As you're looking at race leader Jason Morales to the outside, it looks like Justin White trying to unlap himself currently. So Justin White looking to become the last truck on the lead lap of passing Jason Morales, but they're going to be side by side entering 3 and 4.
As we watch this battle now, Justin White in that 2 wins stage number 1. Now Jason Morales in that 5 machine, currently our race leader here, lap 75, down to corner number 1.
Yeah, Jason Morales still holding on to the lead. Drivers yet to come down pit road for service here in the middle of the stage. That's Morales, Hess, Knott, Hagan, Blanchard, and then Ron Hunter, all still waiting on service from them. And Brandon Broad for correction was involved in that lap 1 incident. So we're still waiting for a couple drivers to come down pit road here in stage number 2. As you're looking at pit cycles right now, those drivers last pitted at the end of stage number 1. Most of those, you see that giant blue mark there on the right side, denoting it's been a while since they come to pit road. But now Kyle Hess and Jason Morales down pit road. That'll cycle the lead over to, oh, nope, Cody Knott, Dan Hagan also come down pit road. So maybe the lead will cycle over to Chris Blanchard, although he'll be looking to hold on for Robbie Richards, who's right behind him.
Yeah, as we watch this reshuffle of the grid, currently the scoring is a little bit jumbled up for you folks watching along with us here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network here on lap 76 down to corner number 177 now, as Chris Blanchard will take us across the line. That 14 machine lap, or stage number 2 will end on lap 90 here, Tyler, as we watch these pit stops take place. What do you think these drivers are doing during these green flag pit stops? Obviously getting fuel, but we haven't really talked about those 5 sets of tires for these drivers.
Yeah, it's going to maybe play a factor. I doubt it personally. I think the bigger deal is that fuel limitation. 30 to 36 laps, you're going to see drivers pitting off cycle. And I think you're going to see drivers maybe in the final stage opting for a splash and dash versus a full 4-tire stop here if they're trying to maybe steal some positions at the end of this race. They're just going to be outside their fuel window, I believe. So why waste time on pit road? Because I don't think you're going to make up 8 to 10 seconds in the 3-lap difference that it is on fuel. Meanwhile, though, you're seeing some of these drivers now. The lead has been handed over to Robbie Richards, as I believe Christopher Blanchard still yet to pit in this stage, but he has taken the lead now. Steve Barnett, meanwhile, after pit cycles have occurred, has dropped from 1st to 5th. So staying out as long as he did not help Steve Barnett, as you see Ron Hunter in for his service now finally. So it looks like all we're waiting on is Christopher Blanchard to come in for his service, and then all service will be complete. Looks like Ron Hunter, very slow. May have missed the pit entry, Will.
Here on lap 78 right now, starting to see who's settling into position, who wants to gain positions here in stage number 2. Currently, Robbie Richards is leading the way. We talked about Chris Blanchard in that 14 machine currently in second. Now Justin White gets by him in that 2. Steve Barnett up to 3rd. Here, make it lap 79, down to 1.
Yeah, Robbie Richards, now that everyone has officially pitted with Chris Blanchard coming down pit road, we can give you a more accurate, up-to-date picture. We have just, I believe, 12 laps to go here in stage number 2. Robbie Richards, your race leader. Justin White sitting in 2nd. Steve Barnett reeling him in, currently in 3rd. Adam Newbert, 4th. Tim Hammond up 20 positions. He's in 5th. Jason Morales will be 6th. Kyle Hess will be 7th. Kerry Tribute, 8th. Dan Hagan, 9th. Cody Knott, 10th. We're waiting to see who cycle out ahead, Chris Blanchard or Brian Chu, for that lucky dog position in position number 11. So right now, only 10 trucks on the lead lap because of these deferring pit strategies.
Yeah, pit strategies becoming a huge factor here tonight. We look at our biggest mover of the race so far. That 69 machine of Tim Hammond, up 20 spots from the drop of the green flag. Currently in 5th inside that top 5. Tim Hammond right inside that bubble. The top 5 here tonight can start to lock in that spot for that 16-9 machine, but still a long way to go here as we count down the laps now. 11 laps to go in stage number 2.
Steve Barnett is reeling in your race leader, Robbie Richards, at a blistering pace. By staying out, he's on significantly fresher tires here at the end of this stage. We were worried, would it be too little too late? Well, with this longest stage 2, the longest of the 3 stages tonight, he has had plenty of time, and you're going to see him in frame here with Robbie Richards right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Barnett has come out of a rocket ship, and he is going to make it quick and easy work of Robbie Richards. Race leader, Steve Barnett, 42 here, because we have 9 laps to go in stage number 2.
Steve Barnett's letting the rest of the field know you're not in Kansas anymore. He's tapping his red shoes together. He is making all of his dreams come true here tonight. Steve Barnett still leading the way down to corner number 3.
Just a dominant performance. Well, you know, we talk about how we usually see a dominant stage 1 from someone and then a more competitive race throughout. This has been a dominant showing by Steve Barnett here in stage 2. I think he is the truck to beat at this point in time, barring any craziness happening in stage 3.
Craziness indeed, but we talked about it here. A shorter stage run to close out the proceedings here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. So a little bit of a different race, a different ending to tonight's event, as now we watch the 86 machine of Hess currently inside the top 10. This field now starting to settle in as we're counting down the laps in stage number 2.
Yeah, and you know, we didn't really maybe see this entering this race where you would have maybe such a dominant stage 2, but like you talked about, Will, that stage 3 being shorter, just outside that fuel window, I think you're going to see drivers take risks like we saw Justin White take risks in stage number 1. I think you have to at this point, especially with the way that Steve Barnett has just dominated stage number 2. You got to do something different to get ahead of him.
You got to do something different indeed, as now Steve Barnett's still our race leader around the corner. We look at some of the other positions below the race leader as he's going to make it another lap in the books, lap 85 down to 1. Justin White currently up to 3rd. Jason Morales, we talked about the run the 5 has to have here tonight, Tyler. Now currently in the 4th position. And that top 5 bookended from last week's winner, Adam Newbert, and that 4 who's currently having another great night here tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, and you look at just the top 10 drivers right now. Drivers who really needed good finishes, that's Cody Knott here, currently sitting in 10th at number 26. Machine was only 8 points ahead of the cut line coming in. I believe Adam Newbert has surpassed him, but Cody Knott has passed the driver who was just ahead of him by a point in Brandon Broadfoot. Cody Knott has set himself up to essentially, even though he'll lose a spot to Adam Newbert, he's going to gain a spot, so he'll still be in the 16th points position at the end of the night. What he has to be careful of is that he's still that bubble driver. He needs to have consistent finishes here in the last 2 weeks of the regular season in order to make sure that he is safely in the playoffs.
As we watch Michael McKinnon in that 99 machine, Michael McKinnon came out of this race, got rocket out of that landing pad at Cape Canaveral. Now the 99 machine, Michael McKinnon down 11 spots down to 12th. We can see what it's like to start on the top of this grid, feel that pressure for a little bit. We're also watching what that pit strategy can cost you here tonight is at 99. Michael McKinnon now trying to keep inside the top 10.
Yeah, Michael McKinnon there just sitting, I believe, 40 seconds off the race leader. He's really racing Chris Blanchard, I believe, from the Lucky Dogs. I believe they are a lap down. Yes, they are. So that's your Lucky Dog battle. Mike McKinnon and Chris Blanchard. Your pole sitter and the driver started 9th and was running really well most of the race. Meanwhile, the driver started 2nd, also battling for that Lucky Dog spot. That's Zach Hartwick. Although he's about 2 seconds behind Mike McKinnon. Mike McKinnon's about 4 seconds behind Chris Blanchard, so it looks like Chris Blanchard will be your lucky dog recipient here at the end of the stage. And that's really unfortunate for drivers like Brian Chu, who I think had a very, very, very solid truck tonight and very good odds of winning, but looks like pit strategy or maybe entering and exiting pit road has cost him here tonight, Will. So when you're looking at the way the rest of this race is going to go, is there any driver you think is just going to fall in their lap, or do you have a pit to win at this point?
Now you just talked about it there, Tyler. Some of these drivers that are out of this race, season's starting to get a little bit, I'd say, icy for them with 2 races to go in the regular season. But as far as race picks go, Tyler, you have to look at some of these drivers that have had big runs here tonight. Obviously, the 42 machine is Steve Barnett up 10 spots. Look at some other names that could be in the mix here towards the end. Tim Hammond in that 69 machine up 18 positions, currently in the 7th spot right there. Look at Justin White up 6 positions as well on that too. There's some other surprise names that are way off the pace, but remember folks, when that stage ends here in just one lap's time, we'll get that yellow flag, the field will come back together. Dan Hagen, Cody Knott, both up 12 and 16 spots, respectfully there at the tail end of the lead lap. So watch out, Tyler, for somebody surprising to sneak into contention.
Yeah, but meanwhile, that's Steve Barnett taking the win in stage number 2. Jason Morales second, Robbie Richards third, Justin White fourth, Adam Newbert fifth, Kyle Heskett sixth, Tim Hammond will finish in P7, P8 will go carry Tribute, I believe, P9 Dan Hagen, and Cody Knott will round out your top 10 here in stage number 2. We're just waiting for Cody Knott to cross the stripe. Once he does, we will officially get the yellow flag. And that'll be the stage caution right there, folks. Steve Barnett almost making a whole another lap around. So Steve Barnett definitely putting his stamp on the field well here in stage number 2.
He really did an impressive stage there, even with the pit strategy, everything he had to do to get that stage victory, he did that. Now we're starting to see, Tyler, as we're going to have the shorter end of this race, we're looking at a remainder of around 45 laps or so to go. We'll still have that pit strategy. Now watch out for, Tyler, we've touched on it, what these drivers like to do. If we're going to see drivers in that early window knowing to shorter run here, or if drivers will push that envelope, try to go to that checkered flag without having to pit.
Yeah, and that's what's really going to, I think, amp up the excitement here in this final stage at Kansas, Michigan. We've had a very entertaining race so far. Well, stage 1 was an absolute barn burner. Stage 2 was a dominant display by Steve Barnett, who we'll talk to once he completes his pit stops here in the stage. But definitely a tale of 2 stages, but both very impressive watching these guys in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series perform tonight.
Yeah, it has been a show indeed. It's every week here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. This series is always an excellent jumping off point to the iRacing events that take place here almost every day of the week on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. SimRacerHub.com Truck Series now creeping into those playoff races. Tyler, what a season it's been so far.
It really has, Will, in the inaugural season of the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We really could not have asked for a better opening season. We've seen different drivers. We've seen dominant performances with like likes of Newton Maurer, and really with Steve Barnett here in the second stage. We've seen crazy last lap races at our super speedway races, and we've seen some crazy strategies, especially the race in Texas that got John Hamilton his win with a great fuel strategy call, getting himself locked in the playoffs, which is a good thing because he had a very rough beginning to his night. I believe he is many, many laps down at this point, 47, I believe, at this point. So John Hamilton not having the night he wanted, but the driver is having the night he want. Steve Barnett speaking with our Will, my fellow broadcaster Will in the booth. Sorry about that. And that's Steve Barnett, stage 2, number winner.
Steve Barnett, that 42 machine put on a show in stage number 2. Steve, how did you get it done in that stage?
Just kept going, hitting my marks. I mean, I was pretty solid, had a pretty good line through 1 and 2, and just kept going and didn't realize I was in the lead until I am in here now.
Now, it seems as though strategy is the word of the day here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. What's your strategy coming into tonight's race?
I was supposed to save tires, but I accidentally came into the pits just to grab fuel and didn't uncheck my tires, so now I am out of tires.
Oh, okay. So that's a breaking news here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Steve Barnett in that 42 machine. We look at how these playoffs are shaping up. Are you racing for stage victories here tonight, or you still want to snag another victory heading into those playoff races?
Oh, I'm trying to get another win. I'm always here to win.
Sounds good to me. Well, Steve, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. Good luck the rest of the way. Stage number 2 winner, Steve Barnett.
Yeah, that was your stage number 2 winner, Steve Barnett. And Will, kind of concerning the fact that he is out of tires. I didn't think we'd be going through 5 sets of tires, but now that I look at it, yeah, Steve Barnett's taken 4 pit stops. He only had 4 extra sets. If he took tires on every single stop, he is out of tires. also concerned maybe Robbie Richards is out of tires. He's had 4 pit stops. I don't necessarily know how his have gone. So any drivers that have come to pit road 4 times, you have to be worried that maybe they're out of tires, including the likes of Adam Newbert, Tim Hammond, Dan Hagan, Michael McKinnon, Brian Chu, Jason Stevenson, a couple others throughout. But the lead lap ones that really matter, that's your Hagan, your Newberts, your Hammonds, Richards, and Barnett.
Now watch out for some of these drivers that may be sitting on that extra set. So during that last set of pit stops here to close out the Triple M pulling 200, when those drivers just sneak an extra set on that truck, we'll see what kind of difference that makes towards the end of tonight's race. As now we watch the field being led by that pace truck. We wait the green flag once again. Looks like Kyle Hess and Jason Morales will be the 2 trucks taking us to the green flag.
Yep, that was going to be row number 1. Row number 2 will be Justin White, your stage 1 winner, and Steve Barnett on his outside. Row number 3, though, you're going to have Robbie Richards and Adam Newbert, so that'll be an interesting little duo of drivers. And you have Tim Hammond and Dan Hagan, Carriage View, Cody Knott, and Christopher Blanchard, your last truck on the lead lap. He's in P11, so field's definitely a lot different than what it was. These drivers looking ready to get going. Jason Morales will lead the field of the green. He gets a good jump on the outside. Kyle Hess caught napping. Robbie Richards is going to jump well up into second here. We're going to be 3 wide entering turn number 1 battle here.
Jason Morales, our race leader, down to 1 and 2. He said, y'all go ahead and bang it out for a top 5. I'll check out with the race lead down the backstretch as we now see the 86 of Hess having some difficulty down in the corner.
Yeah, that was a very strange restart indeed. Morales was the control car. Hess did just not get going. I wonder if he missed a shift or just wasn't paying attention to caught napping. Morales to the lead. Robbie Richards second. That's going to be a battle between Barnett and White. That'll be for position number 3. Adam Newbert, though, sitting there in 5th with Tim Hammond right behind him in 6th. Tight battle for 2nd through 6th.
As now Chris Blanch in that 14 machine will ride down pit road. We'll wait and see what exactly is wrong with that 14 as we watch the battles ensue down the backstretch. Robbie Richards in that 48 machine has a battle on his top side. Steve Barnett in that 42. Adam Newbert in that 4. Tim Hibben in that 69. Justin White in that 2. We are so tight down the corner number 1.
That Chris Blanchard's going to get his 1 stop in the stage done now. See if he has enough fuel to make it to the end. He's come down for pit service. He's going to get 4 tires and fill that truck full of fuel, and he'll be on his way. Meanwhile, though, back up front, the battle for second is tight. You have 2 by 2 by 2, 3 rows deep. Positions 1 through 7, throw them under a blanket as they go through 3 and 4.
The dogs are here to fight. The dogs are hungry as things almost get out of hand. We're still 3 wide now, battling for the race lead down in the corner number 1. Things couldn't get any more crazy here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network as trucks are beating and banging for the race lead down the backstretch.
Jason Morales went from 1st to 7th in half a lap. 1st to 7th. Because that pack of 6 was hungry, and they swallowed him up. He got out to too big of a lead, and these drivers working together kind of all just split him, left him out to dry. Meanwhile, though, we're 2 by 2 by 2 for 1st through 6th now. These drivers are battling hard for position. Adam Newbert side by side with Robbie Richards for the lead. Steve Barnett looks to the outside. He won't make the move there.
As you look at Adam Newbert and that 4 machine, you take him off of 2, but Robbie Richards in that 48 said, I want that lead back here. Jason Morales is looking around, looking like, what happened to me, as he is left out of the party. No party invitation for that 5 machine, as they are partying out for the race lead across the strike, make it 101 down to corner number 1.
Yeah, the battle up front still raging on. Adam Newbert and Robbie Richards stays inside. Steve Barnett will take the opportunity to go to the outside of Robbie Richards through 1 and 2. Try and make another pass on the outside work, but you got to be worried about Steve Barnett. No tires. Although, Will, I was saying, final stage, maybe you see drivers take fuel only. Steve Barnett's hand has already been forced. He will, if he has to come down pit road, only be able to take fuel. That may actually end up helping him, in my opinion.
Wait and see here as we're counting it down. 33 laps to go here tonight to see who will win the Triple M pulling 200 on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We watch the field come off for corner number 2. down the backstretch, things are getting crazy here on this broadcast.
For those of you who just tuned in here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, you've come at a great time. The battle up front is intense. Adam Newbert to the inside of Steve Barnett, Kerry Tribute behind them. Robbie Richards right there. Tim Hammond, Brian Shue, a lap truck there are making the battle interesting. They got Justin White in tow with them. A big group of drivers all fighting for position, except for Brian Shue, who's fighting to get his lap back. He's the first truck one lap down.
As we watch, still Adam Newbert battling out now with Kerry Tribute on his top side. Kerry Tribute in that 7, going to come out of nowhere here in the late stages of this race. That 7 machine wants to get in victory lane. A driver week in and week out always shows he can get it done, but he has to get by. That 42 machine of Steve Barnett, we cross the line, make it 105 down to 1.
Steve Barnett, who had the dominant performance in Stage 2, finds himself back out front in Stage 1, but he's got company to his inside. That's Kerry Tribute. He's going to move side by side. Kerry Tribute's going to clear him through 1 and 2. Adam Newbert, meanwhile, will slide into third ahead of Tim Hammond and Rob Richards, who are side by side for position number 4.
Right now, as we're going to ride on board a front row view of this battle for the lead. Steve Barnett's going to hold it down. Adam Newbert currently in third. Make it 105 down to corner number 1.
Yeah, and they're going to go all single file. Kerry Tribute leading the train into 1 and 2, but Steve Barnett's going to go to the outside. He'll make the pass this time through 1 and 2. Should get the run off the corner. New race leader down the backstretch. That's Steve Barnett. Adam Newbert's going to get a run. Tim Hammond's going to dive to his inside, though. Make it 3 wide here for second, entering 3 and 4.
Tim Hammond's trying to put everything on the line here tonight. You see contact here. It's going to shake up that 69 just a little bit. Going to get a little cautious behind that wheel. What a great shot here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network as we watch the field head down into corner number 1. Things haven't stopped since the drop of the green flag here, Tyler, as we're off of corner number 2.
A battle indeed. You see this giant pack working together here as we're just under 30 laps to go now in this race. Steve Barnett leading Adam Newbert. Kerry Tribute battling for second. Newbert to the bottom. Tribute's going to follow behind Barnett. Meanwhile, Newbert's going to get a great run through 3 and 4. He'll be to the inside of Steve Barnett coming through the tri-oval. Where does Robbie Richards go? Where does Kerry Tribute go? Kerry Tribute gets to the bumper of Barnett here as they enter 1 and 2, pushing him into the corner.
Very fierce battle at the top of the grid right now. Kerry Tribute in that 7, trying to push his way to the top, get around the 42 machine of Barnett. Still, though, Adam Newbert in that 4 is lingering on the low side. As we're down to corner number 3, the laps are starting to tick down, but the heat is starting to turn up as we're 3 wide, around 3 and 4 for the race lead.
Adam Newbert has to keep it all the way on the bottom. Won't get the runoff he wants. Kerry Tribute's going to get the run he wants. Who does everyone go with? Brian Shue, the lap truck, goes to the outside. Robbie Richards goes to the middle. Newbert's left to dry. Kerry Tribute takes the lead, entering 1 and 2. Make that Adam Newbert's going to drop to third. Not a battle for position. Brian Shue, lap down truck, trying to stay ahead of Zach Hartwick in the 6 and Jason Stevenson in the 93. Meanwhile, he's got wide a ways back to those drivers. Meanwhile, Christopher Blanchard trying to catch up to this big pack. He's got a ways to come back from. Back out front, though, Tim Hammond's rejoined this group of 5 battling for the race lead.
Tim Hammond still inside that 69, inside the top 5 machine. Nathan Maurer, we talked about the rough night he's had in the 971 machine. Not currently the spot that he's used to, Tyler, in these late stages of these races. A bunch of lap downs, a night to forget for that 971 machine, as we have a mix of lead lap trucks and lap trucks here tonight. Still battles brewing inside the top 5.
Brian Shue, a lap down, trying to take away, in theory, position number 2 on the racetrack. In actuality, it's more just to get him close to that leader. And what does that do? That allows Kerry Tribute to pull away. All of this pack is trying to work together, reel him in. They're going to do so with a great run into 1 and 2. Steve Barnett's going to go to the outside. He's been running the outside really well so far tonight. He's going to look to probably use that to his advantage. Tim Hammond, though, position number 3, battling rages on with Adam Newbert there, side by side.
26 laps to go here tonight. Kerry Tribute trying to use Brian Shue to his advantage, trying to use him as a little bit of a pick here as we count these laps down. Steve Barnett still currently in the 2nd position, trying to find a way up to that 7. As you now watch that traffic jam involving that 69 Tim Hammond, you look at White right there, and Adam Newbert stuck behind that 51 machine of Brian Shue.
Yeah, Justin White's kind of just biding his time, realizing it's a little chaotic up there with the front 6 trucks. It's like maybe he doesn't want to be in a bad position there, doesn't want to get involved in a wreck. He's going to take a more cautious approach. He's looking for the race win. Being up front right now doesn't matter. Still 25 laps to go. Meanwhile, though, Kerry Tribune burning fuel out front. Can he make it to the end? I don't necessarily believe he can. When will these drivers pit well? That's all to be seen.
That is all to be seen. Indeed, Kerry Tribune currently our race leader down into 1 and 2. We'll watch how this grid will get reshuffled here, Tyler. We watched it so far here tonight. Always big shakeups when those pit stops ensue. So we'll watch how this field gets shaken up here as we come off of quarter number 4. Kerry Tribune still leading the way. That's 7.
Yeah, some pit stops have already happened. Pit stops for Cody Knott, Dan Hagen, Kyle Hess, Jason Morales. They've already come in for their service, so they're a lap down right now, but really they are racing with this lead group of 5 or 6 trucks. Meanwhile, they've gotten single file for the time being, shuffling Brian Shue back to the 5th truck in line. Tim Hammond's going to get clear, but that's going to allow Adam Newbert to chase with Steve Barnett and Kerry Tribune as they enter 3 and 4.
Only 6 or 7 trucks left on the lead lap here tonight. This race has been a marathon. Of course, cautions fly at the end of the stages, but here tonight, Tyler, I believe we've only had 1 on-track caution here tonight.
That is true. Only 1 caution for cause tonight. Meanwhile, though, we could have had multiple. These drivers are racing absolutely on the edge. You see the battle for second now shaping up here. There's Adam Newbert to the inside of Steve Barnett. They'll be side by side down the back straightaway. Adam Newbert's going to look to the inside. Can he make the pass through 3 and 4? I don't think he'll be able to do it this time. It's going to bring Tim Hammond and Robbie Richards back up into the fold. Meanwhile, Justin White kind of biding his time. He may be doing what he did in stage number 1, saving gas, and being able to make it to the end without pitting. Keep your eye on Justin White here late in this race.
Trying to be very coy inside that 2 machine as we're around 1 and 2. A driver that I know wants to break into victory lane is that 69 machine, and Tim Hammond. I gotta tell you, Tyler, after every broadcast, he sends me a text and says, "Oh man, I must have it every single week inside that 69 machine." Now watch it. You've seen the type of luck he's had this season. Always a truck, always in the mix. Just has bad luck towards the end of this race. Now here tonight inside the top 5, trying to keep that 69 on this path to lock himself into those playoff races.
Yeah, this has definitely been, I think, Tim Hammond's most complete race, but he's going to get used up a little there by Robbie Richards, that 48 machine. That's going to bring Justin White and Brian Shue with him. White's going to dive to the bottom, get position number 5 over to Justin White now. Tim Hammond will drop back to 6. Meanwhile, Kerry Tribune's opening up a bit of a gap on Adam Newbert and Steve Barnett. Drivers are maybe starting to take some tire wear into account, realizing that maybe fuel is a concern. We know Steve Barnett cannot get tires. He will have a very short pit stop. I'm assuming he will need fuel after watching him battle up front, though, here, Will.
Adam Newbert's trying to hold off Barnett in that 42 machine, as you just touched on, Tyler. We'll see pit stops out of some of these drivers here at the top of the grid. I imagine they'll try to time it together. As we're around 3 and 4, Kerry Tribune leading the way, and that's 7.
Yeah, the battle raging on still. Now front 5 or 6 has gotten a little bit single file. Still well within reach of each other if someone makes a mistake, but no pressing battles right now on track. Right now, though, every driver is thinking, do I have enough fuel to make? When do I need to pit? How much fuel do I need to pit? Do I take tires? Do I not take tires? Right now, those crew chiefs are working overtime. And for some of these drivers, it's them making the decision. Sometimes you have to take that decision out of the driver's hands if you're me.
Right now, as we see this counting down, Robbie Richards starting to put it on of Steve Barnett in that 42 machine. They're side by side for position. They don't know about pit strategy right now. They just know about the battle they have on each other's hands. This is a battle for second, around 1 and 2.
And that battle between Robbie Richards, Steve Barnett trying to chase down Newbert and Tribune. Oh, Steve Barnett's into the wall. That's a big hit for Steve Barnett. We saw a hit similar for Brady LaBeouf. Cost him a lot of time, and that might have been the end of Steve Barnett's competitive night here tonight. A very frustrating way for Steve Barnett's race to go. He's going to pit here now as well. Oh, Michael Allen's around. We're going to have a caution.
Caution flag is out here at Kansas. We just saw Steve Barnett make contact with the topside wall. That did not bring out the caution, though, as we started to see trucks starting to pile up there off of corner number 4.
I believe that incident was caused by Steve Barnett trying to get to pit road and then Brandon Broadfoot avoiding or attempting to avoid making contact, coming up and hitting Michael Allen, that 60 truck. I think we'll get a better replay here in a second for you all to look at, but I believe that's exactly what brought out that caution there.
As we watch the 6 Machine of Hardwick here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, we're getting that replay ready for you here to see what brought out only our second caution of the night here tonight, Tyler. We'll watch it here.
Exactly the view. Brandon Broadfoot avoiding Steve Burnett on the apron. He comes a little bit above the surface. Michael Allen's just a pure victim of circumstance here in that incident.
Yeah, Brandon Broadfoot, we talked about that 24 machine, going to run up through the grid, just hasn't been able to hang on, and you just talked about it there for Michael Allen, just an innocent bystander for a driver trying to maintain tonight's event, not having a very good run, but a run that looked like he wanted to finish inside that truck.
Waiting to see the battle off of pit road between Richards, Newbert, White, Tribune, Hammond, Barnett, and all of them are racing to get off of pit road. Be interesting to see who's the first driver off pit road. It looks like Adam Newbert is going to win your race off pit road. Kerry Tribune will be second, Justin White third, Robbie Richards fourth, and then Tim Hammond will be the 5th driver off pit road.
And Tyler, I know you love to ask me this question. It's my turn now to ask you this question. As we watch now the field start to settle in, we only have in the range about 15 to 20 laps to go here in the Triple M pulling 200. Who are you keeping your eye out here in the closing stages?
I've harped on it all night so far. The dominance of Toyotas here at Kansas Motor Speedway. Adam Newbert, Toyota, number 4, now leading this race. Also, his teammate Brian Chu, another Toyota, just got back on the lead lap. 2 drivers I think you have to keep an eye out for. But, and this is a big but, Justin White, winner of stage number 1, one of the fastest trucks all night long. I think he has a chance. Don't necessarily know if Kerry Tribune can pull it off here. We saw some speed here in stage 3. But it's all going to come down to this restart here. I believe we're going to have just about 10 laps to go when we go green.
To watch here, the field's starting to get settled back in for the drop of the green flag here again. If you've liked what you've seen so far here tonight on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, we invite you to go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and even Twitter to stay up to date and follow all along with all the iRacing action that we provide here at Nazareth. I gotta say, Tyler, I believe we're live almost every week here at the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We also have a Cup Series that'll be starting up on Sunday nights.
That is true. Well, right now we are running the Cup Series on Sunday nights. We have the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series here on Monday nights. Thursday nights, I believe we have the Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series. And on Friday nights, we have the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. So we have 2 Truck Series, Monday and Friday, an Xfinity Series on Thursday, and a Cup Series on Sunday. Looking at potentially expanding into an IMSA Series on Saturday night, some multi-class action. Still waiting to see if all the logistics for that work out per se. But all of that will be broadcast live here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Triple M Pulling Trucks for sponsoring tonight's race, Triple M Pulling 200. Obviously, also like to thank our other sponsors, Planters Towing and Recovery, Millie's Restaurant, Catering, Butt Kicker, and everyone else who makes the series possible. We could not do it without them and their support, especially SimRacerHub.com being the title sponsor of the Monday Night Series.
As we watch now the conclusion of another excellent installment of the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, a series which we've seen drivers dominate, other drivers pop to the top of the field as well. The pace lights are off of that pace truck. Tyler, we're in for quite a finish here at Kansas.
Yeah, not many trucks on the lead lap. We have a couple of wave arounds. We have a couple of lead lap trucks. Obviously, Lucky Dog, Brian Chu. I believe with wave arounds, we're going to have, I want to say, 12 trucks on the lead lap to end this race. But right now, there's only 6 here in this front pack. Or, no, correction. There's only 5 here in this front pack. Oh, no, 6. Steve Burnett is there. So, you're going to see Adam Newbert, Kerry Tribune, take him to the green flag here. Justin White, Robbie Richards, and then Tim Hammond on the inside. Nate has multiple laps down there, the outside row number 3. You got Steve Burnett a couple rows back, Brian Chu a couple rows behind them. So, a lot of drivers keep your eye out on as we're about to go green flag racing here to finish off the Triple M Pulling 200. Adam Newbert gets a great restart. We're going to have just over 12 laps to go here as we are green again.
in that 4. Machine's going to separate down into 1. Starting to see a battle now brew for the second position between Justin White and Kerry Tribute. Robbie Richards is going to fall to the inside as we have a battle for second. Down the backstretch right now is Adam Newbert, so our race leader down to 3.
Adam Newbert, your race leader, he's going to have a hungry group of 3 drivers right behind him. That's Justin White, Kerry Tribute, Robbie Richards. Tim Hammond a little bit further back, but he should get some momentum here in the next couple of corners. Tim Hammond looking to close the bridge between the front 4. That's 5 trucks about to be under a blanket here for the race lead. Brian Chu about a second back. He's going to try and make his way through traffic to get up front, but Adam Newbert leads him into 1 and 2.
11 laps to go here off of corner number 2. Newbert's still our race leader in that 4. Still a long way to go here in this race. It's anybody's victory right now. As you see Justin White in that 2 still trying to hold off Kerry Tribute as we come around 4.
And that's really what Adam Newbert wants to see. He wants to see those 2 drivers in second and third battling each other, but they're going to get in line. And Justin White's going to have a shot here at Adam Newbert as we enter 1 and 2. Where does he go? Does he go low or does he go high? He's going to look to the high side around Adam Newbert the long way around. Justin White, your stage 1 winner, is trying to find a way to power through on the outside, but he will not get it done through 1 and 2. Adam Newbert, still your race leader, throws the block.
As you see Justin White with a huge move, and Allen Iverson crossover to the inside. Justin White in that 2 machine now to the inside of the 4. Adam Newbert side by side for the race lead around 3 and 4 across the line. Make it 9 laps to go down to corner number 1 side by side for the race lead. Tyler, things are getting crazy here to close this race out.
Eric Tribute decided to push Adam Newbert into that corner. It's going to let Tim Hammond, by the way, gets by Robbie Richards for the 4th position. Gary Tribute is going to try and push back Justin White here on the outside. He'll go with Adam Newbert into 3 and 4.
As you see, still side by side for second. Justin White in that 2. Kerry Tribute in that 7. They love to see it, though. Adam Newbert in that 4 said, y'all go ahead and battle it out for first loser. I'll take this trophy with me home. 8 laps to go. Adam Newbert down to 1, our race leader.
We've seen the outside prevail in making a lot of passes in 1 and 2. I'm surprised we're not seeing the leaders protect that outside lane a little bit more. They're going to dive to the bottom almost every single lap if you have choice of lane entering the corner. And obviously the driver making the pass is going to jump to the outside. It allows you to stay in the throttle a little bit longer, a little bit less wheel input, gets you a better run off the corner. We should just see if Adam Newbert ever adjusts his line entering 1 and 2 here. So we're going to have 7 laps to go this time.
After withstanding the pressure, Robbie Richards in that 48 machine. Tim Hammond at 69 has now crept into picture to the inside. A Kerry Tribute for 3rd around the corner. 69 machines trying to get her done. Down the backstretch now, down to 3.
As you see these drivers battling for position, they're going to be single file 1 through 5. Then you have 2 lap trucks. That's Nathan Maurer and Chris Blanchard. And then you have Brian Chu, the next truck on the lead lap. He's trying to get by those 2 lap trucks. Doesn't have the speed. Meanwhile, Justin White gets a bit of a run here to Adam Newbert. Is he going to go to the inside? No, he's going to push him here. And then he'll look to the inside in 1 and 2. Adam Newbert's going to have to swing wide, clip a late apex. Adam Newbert should get the run here off the corner.
So back and forth, a blow by blow body shots here at Kansas. Down into corner number 4. This battle for the lead has been going from the drop of the green flag. Now Tim Hammond to the inside of Kerry Tribute. Once again, that 69 wants a piece of the action across the strike. Make it 7 laps to go, down to 1.
Yeah, the laps are winding down here in the Triple M. Pulling 200 and SimRaceDrive.com. We're going to crossover move Kerry Tribute and Tim Hammond, as I believe we have less than 5 laps to go. We're on lap 131 here now. Laps are counting down. These drivers are doing everything they can to make the moves that they need to in order to win this race, but the battling has been great so far. Meanwhile, though, those front 2 have pulled away. Contact between Hammond and Tribute, though, in the back.
Can contact for 3rd right now. A podium finish for either one of these drivers would be very good here tonight with 4 laps to go. The battle for the lead as they touch once again on the corner. Tim Hammond now up to 3rd. Looks like, though, Tyler, he might be out of contention for the race lead. Adam Newbert, though, still trying to hold off. Justin White in that 2, around 3 and 4.
Yeah, the front 2 will be seeing 3 to go this time by. That's Newbert and Justin White, 3 to go. Both of these drivers just want to win. That's all they want to do. They want to get a win, get more playoff points. They both already have wins on the season. 3 laps to go, entering 1 and 2. They're going to be nose to tail. Tim Hammond a little bit further back. I think he's out of position to win this race. Meanwhile, though, the battle for 4th raging on between Tribute and Robbie Richards.
3 laps to go in the Triple M, pulling 200 as we're down into corner number 3. Still a lot of positions to be decided on the racetrack. Robbie Richards, Carrie Tribute side by side around corner number 3 and 4 across that line, making 2 laps to go as we're down to corner number 1.
2 to go this time. I think the problem is Justin White doesn't have any help behind him to make a run on Adam Newberg. He's going to have to do it just with whatever Newberg gives him. Makes an attempt here on 1 and 2. He's going to swing wide on the exit. Still be Adam Newberg leading the field down the front straightaway. Tim Hammond trying to close the gap, but he's just a little too far back. They enter 3 and 4, looking for the white flag.
3 and 4, just a couple more times around this racetrack, and we'll have another winner in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Adam Newberg trying to go back to back like Drizzy Drake as he takes the field down to corner number 1 as our race leader.
Justin White's going to send it in deep on the inside here in 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side. They're going to make contact here in 1 and 2. Is that going to bring Tim Hammond into the mix? Justin White to the inside. Adam Newberg to the outside, racing down the backstretch.
They are side by side down into 3 for the race win. Down into the final corner. Justin White clears the 4 on entry. Justin White trying to hold on to a big victory, and Justin White will win at Kansas in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And a huge win. There it is for that 2 machine.
That's another 5 playoff points for Justin White. He talked with us during our Stage 1 interview about all that matters is playoff points. And he proved it here again tonight, getting the win. A little bit of a bold move passing Newberg the way he did in 1 and 2. A little bit of contact. Newberg gives him a little door check on the way by. But all that matters is that Justin White brought home the victory here tonight in the Triple M Pulling 200 in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Wow, just very dominant there in stage number 1. Has a lap time of a 31.47, a best lap time out there for that machine, Justin White. And that, too, you just touched on it, Tyler. Going to go into those playoff races with a little bit of confidence, a little bit of mojo down the stretch.
Yeah, well, I'll go to Justin White's burnout now on the front straightaway. Hopefully we can catch that and get those to the viewers here. Justin White tears it down here at Kansas Motor Speedway on the front straightaway, trying to get the truck rolling the way he wants. See if we can get a nice celebratory moment for Justin White and that 2 machine from, I believe, Mission 1 Esports. So, solid. He's going to go backwards down the track here. Definitely an interesting move here, Will.
Interesting move indeed for the 2, but I say, Tyler, if you win the race, you can practically do anything you want after you get the job done. We look at that 2 machine here tonight. Justin White just closes it out, up 9 spots from the drop of the green flag. Again, actually ran a 31.33, one of the fastest lap times out there. Actually, I believe it was by just 1/10 of a second. It's very fast out there, held off the likes of Robbie Richardson at 48, Adam Newberg. But let's talk about here some big movers inside that top 5. Carrie Tribute going to finish up 13 spots, and Tim Hammond up 22 spots, going to finish 3rd here tonight.
As Justin White continues his backwards trek around Kansas Speedway here, celebrating his Triple M Pulling 200 win. I'd like to take a moment to quickly go back to our point picture, our playoff picture here, and then we'll quickly do our standings of tonight's race. But you look at the point picture tonight, you saw great performance from Justin White. He gets a win that he needs. That's going to move him up to another win. That's his 2nd win on the season. But also for the regular season championship, that's going to narrow that gap because him and Nathan Maurer are top 2 in points. Meanwhile, Tim Hammond going to build the gap to his position, number 16. He's going to improve drastically with that 3rd place finish. And then you look at other drivers. Adam Newberg, another solid night. That's a 2nd place finish. He should get by Cody Knott. But Cody Knott finishes 11th tonight. Brandon Broadfoot finished 20th. Brandon Broadfoot also did not have any stage points. Cody Knott should jump Brandon Broadfoot. Tyler Thurman was not here tonight. He'll drop a position. A lot of shuffling happening on that cut line right now, Will.
You're going to watch a huge shuffle going into next week because also the likes of the 37 machine of Raul Meza is going to have a tough night here as well. Of course, up 6 spots from that cut line. But Raul can't seem to get it going with only 2 races to go. We might have a surprise winner down the stretch that might knock that 37 machine out of the playoff races. But here tonight, this night belongs to Justin White as he makes it known here at Kansas. He's a driver to watch out for in those playoff races.
Yeah, we'll quickly run through your final standings of tonight's race here. Justin White, your race winner, getting the job done. Adam Newberg going from first last week in Indianapolis to second here tonight in Kansas. Tim Hammond will finish third. Kerry Tribute fourth. Robbie Richards fifth. Brian Chu sixth. Kyle Hess will finish seventh. Jason Morales eighth. Dan Hagan ninth. And Steve Barnett, after late contact into the wall, will finish 10th.
Yeah, we touched on it there. Cody Knott's going to finish 11th, up 15 spots from the drop of that green flag. Chris Blanchard in that 14 machine will finish 12th. Jason Stevenson at 93, up 10 spots, will finish 13th. Ron Hunter will finish 14th here tonight. Michael McKinnon, who we saw start off very strong, not going to have the run that he was looking for. Going to finish 15th here tonight. 16th position will belong to Zach Hartwick in that 6 machine. 17th will be Mike Allen in that 60. 18th will be Jason Hall in that 64 machine. And that will be our last car on the lead lap. Actually, Mike Allen will be the 6th machine, the last car on the lead lap. Then we get into Justin Lumpkin in the 19th position. And Brandon Broadfoot will finish 20th.
Rounding out the field, Nathan Maurer will finish 21st, Brandon Bullock 22nd, Brady LaBeouf 23rd, Trey Pitts 24th, 25th, Raul Meza, we talked about not having the night he won, 26th, Torrey Thompson, 27th, Sean Hamilton, also another rough night for him, and then 28th, Tyler Daniels, and 29th, the last driver, Donnie Lyons, although he only completed 5 laps tonight.
We look at here is now Justin White still celebrates in that 2 machine. Another great race here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We talked about it here a few times, Tyler. With only 2 races to go in the regular season, things are starting to get very tricky here tonight. But I think I am catching up with the 3rd place finisher of, we look at Adam Newberg, Tim Hammond at 69 machine. Tim Hammond, my man, you got a copy there, finished in 3rd in that 69 machine?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, you had a great run here tonight. We've talked about it off air. Of course, I get that weekly text from you after every race here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. You finally finished 3rd here tonight. It's not breaking through just yet. Take us through how you got the job done.
Man, I will take this here tonight. I had not touched Kansas until about 40 minutes before we took the green flag, and I gotta say I actually thoroughly enjoy this track after tonight's race, but didn't really have to overcome a lot of adversity. That first stage, I didn't realize that we were gonna have to pit, so I looked at my field. I'm like, oh hey, something's gonna have to happen, or I gotta push this. So I pushed it, and I ended up getting a black flag because I came into close pits, but I only had 0.3 left for fuel, so I had to do something. Either I wasn't going to make it through the caution to get back in the pit road, or I was going to have to just take that penalty then, which I did. But man, it just I was really hoping for a final restart, and when that 42 was going down pit road, I'm not sure what happened, but all I heard over the radio was the wrecking behind us. So I was like, yes, I really wanted that because I knew if I got those fresh tires with about 15 to go, I was just going to be able to just sail that thing around there. And I know I was just looking over the Tribune and I's battle there for 3rd, and it looked like a racing incident. We both were just really racing really hard. I don't know how he feels about it, but I was really wanting that podium finish, man.
We saw you battle it out with both Kerry Tribute and Robbie Richards there towards the end of this race. Tim, you're going to be our biggest mover up 22 spots from the drop of that green flag. We also touched on here tonight those playoff point standings. Do you feel now with this podium finish, maybe you've locked yourself in, or are you starting to feel a little bit more confident heading into those playoff races?
I really felt confident after last week at Indianapolis. Loved that track, and I really wanted to capitalize there because I know a lot of guys didn't really like that track, but home track, love it no matter what. I have fun there, and I really wanted to come into tonight to be able to do exactly what you said, was to just I feel like I've locked myself in. I think I was 10th in points before tonight, so I feel confident. I ain't missing the playoffs. We going.
You go see that 69 machine in those playoff races. Tim Hammond, third place here tonight. Going to walk away some cold hard cash with a job done here. But with that podium finish, my man, my boss at times, my friend off the track here, Tim, the floor is yours. You know the drill here in that podium finish.
It's kind of funny, you know. It's it's funny because after the race, I was like, guys, what am I supposed to do with my hands during the interview? But I really got to thank my wife for, you know, allowing me to take this time to do this every Monday night. Got to thank my kids for understanding, come down here, see me racing. And my wife actually had walked in here to see where I was on the track, and she saw I was in third, and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna get an interview." So shout out to my wife. Shout out to the guys over at Brute Force Racing, Robbie Richards, Nate Maurer. You know, I've known Nate for a long time, so it's kind of funny being his teammate. Sean Hamilton, sucks that he got involved in that early on, but our team's good. Our team's strong. I love it. I love to work with these guys. And a huge shout out to my sponsors, Upscale Detail down there in Vero Beach, Campbell's AC and Cooling down there in Port St. Lucie, iRock TV, and my wonderful realtor in Indianapolis, Bradbury Realty. I want to shout out to her. Just really thank the league. I can't say enough about Brady and the guys that put this together. It all started just doing broadcasts, and now I'm over here racing. Love it, and just can't say enough. And thank you guys up in the booth. I go back every night after the race and watch it because I know I'll get distracted if I watch it during. You guys do a great job.
My man, Tim Hammond at 69. I'm sure you're gonna love watching back tonight's broadcast. Gonna finish third. Appreciate you taking the time with us here up here in the booth. We can't wait to see what you have in store next week inside that 69 machine.
Thanks, guys.
And that was Tim Hammond, that 69 machine, gonna come home third here tonight. But I believe, Tyler, you're catching up with our second place finisher.
Yeah, and I'm joined here now with last week's winner, Indianapolis, and tonight's second place finisher, Adam Newbert, in the Stick With It Motorsports Toyota Tundra. Adam, I said before in the opening to this broadcast, Toyota's always had a very dominant performance here at the Kansas Speedway in the real world, and you almost made me correct here tonight with your performance tonight. You had an interesting little move there, entering 1 and 2 with Justin White on the final lap. Talk us through those moments. Do you have any choice words for him?
No choice words. It's just racing for a win. I mean, that's what you got to do. He got such a huge run. He was able to get a run down the hill coming off turn 4. Had a huge run on me going in the 1. It came out of nowhere. You know, I was kind of looking behind me, and I thought he was getting tight coming off the corners. So I thought I was going to be able to get away from him, and then he let his tires cool down, and he just had this huge run coming off turn 4 all the way down to the turn 1. And by the time he dove to my inside, I just had to do what I could right there, just run him as low as I could, try to pinch him. But that's just hard racing. That's all that was.
Well, Adam, I know necessarily because you had missed a few races, you weren't immediately locked in with your win last week at Indianapolis, but with your performance tonight, you are definitely now inside the top 16 in points. Does a performance like tonight kind of give you a little bit more leeway entering these final 2 races at Gateway in Las Vegas?
Yeah. You know, we just need 2 more good points races. A win would have been awesome. But, you know, 2 in a row would have been awesome, but that's okay. We'll come back out here. Gateway, I probably suck at, so it's going to be kind of a miserable race for me. I hope we can just go out there and put together some more stage points and maybe a top 5, top 10 finish and, you know, help us out even more in the playoffs. But, yeah.
Well, leading the way tonight for the Stick With It Motorsports team, you were, Adam. Obviously, your other teammate, Brian Chu, had a top 10 finish. Justin Lumpkin didn't necessarily have the race he was looking for tonight. Kind of a rough night for him. But looking forward to Gateway and throughout the rest of the regular season, like you said, just kind of looking for solid finishes. Do you think you have what it takes, though, to win at Vegas in 2 weeks?
I don't know. Vegas is a tough track for me. I don't really do too good on those bumps at Vegas. But, you know, just hopefully have a good run the next 2 weeks, get in the playoffs, and then see where we go from there. I think this team can compete in the playoffs without a doubt.
Well, that's great to hear. And then Adam, of course, being a top 3 finisher, you'd like to take this moment to thank anyone who makes this happen for you.
Yeah, I'd like to, you know, thank my teammates Brian Chu, Justin Lumpkin, everybody at Stick With It Motorsports, Jeff Sigler, our team owner. I'll give a special shout out to Keith Bradley tonight. He was giving me some assistance there. You know, those last 10 laps or so. So I'll give a huge shout out to him. Just thank our sponsors, Millie's Landing, Avon and Landscaping, Millie's Restaurant and Catering, along with Millie's Landing, Darren's Nail Gun Repair, Ladanco. Thank everybody, 213 Similar Racing, you guys up in the booth at Nazareth. Thank, Nazareth 360, for everything y'all do, and that's pretty much it.
Well, we'll let you enjoy the rest of your night tonight, Adam. We look forward to hopefully talking with you next week.
Y'all.
And now Will Tiller joined in the booth with our race winner, Justin White.
A man who is now going backwards here at Kansas, did a lot of forward driving en route to a huge victory. Justin White behind the wheel of that 2 machine. Justin, you had one of the fastest laps on the racetrack. You win stage 1, go on to take the checkered flag. How'd you get it done here tonight?
Perseverance, I guess. Just trying to set up Adam there. The driver of the number 4 truck, just trying to set him up, giving him a couple of different looks of what I wasn't, something I wasn't going to do, possibly could have done, and then end up changing it up on him, letting the tires cool off just a smidge there with about 4 to go, and then making one more good solid run at him. And I knew that I had 1 or 2 options going into one, that either he tries to block the high lane and I take it low and he pinches me, and I knew I was really good on the bottom, or drive it around high and keeping the throttle and pray to God it didn't hit the wall. So he chose to go high and I kept it low, and at that point I knew that as long as I got into 3 and didn't wash up the track, that I was pretty much going to have the run coming off the corner.
Yeah, race that only had a couple cautions there, a lot of green flag runs. A little bit of a wrench in tonight's race with those pit stops during those stages. Was that any bit of an adjustment for you here tonight, Justin, or did that play into this victory?
When that first caution came out, I kind of ran I kind of ran hard the first couple of laps, and then the caution came out. And during practice, I knew that I could go about 38, 39 laps on fuel already. And when the caution came out, I knew that I could make it. I'd be close. I'd probably be running out coming to pit road, but I knew I could make it on that first stage. So I just kind of kept to myself, kept quiet, just kept running and saving fuel, and made that first stage. Then the second stage came, and I kind of started in the middle of the lap down cars, and I knew that I had to go, and that's what led me to believe at the end of that stage that I knew that the short run speed was there if I wanted it to be and didn't burn the tire, would burn the tires up, or I could kind of medium range it, just kind of feeling out, knowing how much pressure I could apply to that right front.
Yeah, Justin, well, it all paid off here tonight. And Justin, you're now one of only 3 drivers with multiple wins on the season. We're looking at the schedule here with only 2 races left in the regular season. How are you feeling behind that 2 machine heading into those playoff races?
I'm feeling pretty confident. We made a number change from the 28 to get a first win in the number 28, and then we switched over to the 2. And I told Brady that if this 2 starts showing me some bad luck, I'm gonna switch back to the 28. And lo and behold, and this was the race that kind of sealed the deal for me keeping the 2. The 2 is the number I primarily run, so I'm feeling really confident. We got kind of shaking off some of the mid-season issues that we had, and we're coming full force now, coming to the playoffs, and that's when you need to be on top of your game. I know we're running fixed setups, but still having good confidence will drive you to do better at the tracks that you struggle at.
Exactly that here tonight, Justin. Out of that 2 machine, a lot of confidence as you win stage number 1, win the race here in the Triple M Pulling 200. Justin, before we let you go, my man, now with multiple wins on the season, you've done this before. Well, we love to give you this opportunity to shout out anybody that you had watching here tonight, or any sponsors that made this victory possible.
Yep, I want to thank my teammates and guest affiliate teammates, Nate and Robbie Richards, Sean Hamilton. Those guys really helped keep putting the pressure on me, especially Nate and Robbie, trying to be fast every week. I appreciate Brady and Jason and those guys in the admin team to do everything to keep this thing running. I appreciate you guys on the booth. Then also the sponsor on the truck that keeps the bills paid for me, mostly for being able to run, is Grinds. coffee pouches. Those will help you kick your chewing tobacco habit. They help me. I've been off of it over 12 years now. So it's getgrinds.com, and they'll hook you up with something that will help get that fixation of the need for chewing tobacco and get you completely off of it, tobacco free, and potentially cancer free as well.
Well, congratulations on kicking the habit that is chewing tobacco, but also a huge congratulations on the win here tonight at Kansas. Justin White, that two machine, our race winner in the Triple M Pulling 200. We appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. Justin, go celebrate this huge win. We'll see you next week as we creep toward those playoffs. Justin, you're definitely one of those drivers to watch out for.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And as we finish up with our post-race interviews, well, I got to say, this Kansas race had all the action we could have asked for and more. An exciting stage one, an exciting finish to the race that included a last lap pass in 1 and 2. Can't really ask more from an intermediate track.
No, this race, I think, really opened up with a little bit of a different format than what we've seen throughout this season, the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, with the pit stops and the stages with a shorter run to close out the race here tonight. That really opened the door for a little bit of a shakeup. We saw the grid being shaken up in stage number 1. Stage number 2 is very calm. We saw the battle starting to heat up. And then those last few laps or so to close out the night here in the Triple M Pulling 200, we saw those leaders really trying to rise to the top. We saw great battles between Adam Newbert in the 4 and Justin White in the 2. But ultimately, it had to be Justin White in that 2 machine who joins, that, like I mentioned, only one of 3 drivers with multiple wins on the season.
Yeah, he joins Robbie Richards and Nathan Maurer as drivers with multiple wins on the season. Robbie Richards, obviously the king of Florida, winning at Daytona and Homestead, Miami. But next week, we head to another Midwest track. That's the home of St. Louis. And that is going to be another essentially Missouri track, Kansas City being both in Missouri and Kansas, Will. This time we head to St. Louis for Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway for most of you who have been around the sport for quite a while now. And then the week after that, final race of the regular season, that's at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, a track that races, I would say, relatively similarly to Kansas, minus the fact that the bottom of 1 and 2 at Vegas is significantly bumpier.
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to, though, Tyler, just jumping ahead just a little bit. Of course, a Sweet 16 during that March run. Then you look at that Fast 12, a little gap that I'm very interested in there, Tyler. We head to Watkins Glen, go road course racing up and down the hill that is the Glen. Then we head to Charlotte, a track that everybody is familiar with here on the iRacing Simulator. And that'll creep into that Elite 8. So let's see who can prevail between a road course and a track everybody's familiar with in that Fast 12.
Yeah, I'm excited for that Watkins Glen race. I absolutely love road course racing. I think that'll be an absolute exciting and different challenge for these drivers. First road course on the season. But like you said, that Sweet 16 round, you have a super speedway in Atlanta, you have a short track in Richmond, you have Auto Club, which races kind of like an intermediate with how much off throttle time you have. So 3 very interesting tracks, but we still have to get there. Well, we got Worldwide Technology in Vegas up first as we look forward in the next few weeks. But with that, Will, we're going to bid our viewers a good evening on this great race here in the Triple M Pulling 200. Just an absolutely amazing battle we saw to win the race for Justin White over Adam Newbert. Hopefully we'll have another great battle next week, but thank you all for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you all at the same time next week here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network for the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. That's Will Tiller. I'm Tyler Dittmer. Have a great night.